sexually assaulting a woman on the Southwest Side. Authorities say the suspect climbed through a bedroom window. An investigation continues after a man was found dead behind an industrial building in the back of the Yards neighborhood. Authorities believe the victim had been dead for a long time. State health officials are confirming another new case of Legionnaire's disease at the state's Veterans Home in Quincy. AM 560's David Stewart has new details.
It's the fourth new case of Legionnaire's in a week at the home where the disease has been linked to 13 deaths since 2015. The latest victim is in stable condition, but the persistence of the outbreak has been an issue for political opponents of Governor Rauner, who claim his response has been inadequate, even though more than $6 million has been spent on upgrades. Rauner says the state is considering all new plumbing or even a new building. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Meantime, a handful of Illinois lawmakers are fuming after managers of the Illinois Veterans Home blew off a State House hearing. But the agency directors were a no-show at that hearing. It's not clear when they will be summoned back to the State House. Peoples Gas is agreeing to pay nearly $5 million to end an investigation of waste into its gas main replacement program. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson is expressing gratitude for the support his department has received since the killing of Commander Paul Bauer. Speaking yesterday, Johnson thanked a number of people and businesses who stepped up to help.
Everything that people do really has been therapy for us. You know, this is difficult, you know, and it's going to be difficult. You know, it's going to take some time for us to get back to a sense of normalcy.
Meanwhile, the widow of the fallen Chicago police commander, Paul Bauer, thanked the city in a letter yesterday. A student this morning is suspended after an AR-15 rifle and a handgun were found on campus at Washington University in St. Louis. The chancellor there saying the rifle was discovered during a search of the Phi Delta Theta house. Both weapons, the handgun and the rifle, belonged to a member of that fraternity. Cubs catcher Wilson Contreras not happy and not on board with Major League Baseball's new pace of play rules. Contreras says it's going to cost him a little bit of money to go to the mound, but he'll suffer the consequences. The new rules state you can only make 6 visits to the mound during the first 9 innings of a baseball game. Chicago sports, number 1 Michigan State pulled away in the second half to beat Fighting Illini 81-61 in East Lansing. Ball State toppled our Northern Illinois Huskies 77-68. Tonight, DePaul's at number 3 Villanova in the Valley. The Redbirds of Illinois State host Drake. Bradley visiting Missouri State, and SIU takes on first place Loyola. Tomorrow, Northwestern hosts Wisconsin. Blackhawks back on the ice tonight against the Senators at the UC. The news, a service of Ace. Ace is the helpful place with the helpful hardware folks. Your neighborhood Ace has a wide selection of products from the best brands, including Valspar, Craftsman, Scotts, Toro, Weber, Traeger, and Yeti, plus the expertise you need to take on any project with confidence. Only at Ace, the helpful place. 5:08, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by AM Woodland Outdoor Design.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, people have spring fever. Consumer confidence is up, and that means spending. We want folks to enjoy what they've worked so hard for, but don't forget...
Craig, are you trying to tell me something? I know. Retirement's right around the corner.
Listen, a new season is time for regrowth and building on what you already have. You don't need to do it alone if you have Wealth Management Group at your side.
Spring into action and make Wealth Management Group your go-to partner. And listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Jeannie Ives might be Mike Madigan's favorite Republican. The Madigan machine has bankrolled Ives with thousands of dollars in shady labor union cash, turning Jeannie Ives into another Mike Madigan lackey. Listen to Ives defend Madigan.
Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook. Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook.
Instead of attacking Madigan's corrupt ways like Bruce Rauner, Jeannie Ives defends Madigan.
He's picking on Mike Madigan again. He's picking on Mike Madigan again.
Ives won't even commit to immediate repeal of the Madigan income tax hike.
You need legislator approval to repeal that, obviously, so you'd have to have them decide to do that, to repeal it, right? I can't guarantee what the legislator is going to send me in the bill.
Jeannie Ives, guaranteed to defend and defer to Mike Madigan.
I don't think that's any way to deal with the powerful Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan.
Paid for by Citizens for Rauner, Inc.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
5:10 and a check of our morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Michael. Many of yesterday's flood-related closures remain in place. There are actually more, including some major closures in northwest Indiana. Kennedy Avenue is closed, 8094 and 81st Street due to the high water levels, and the ramps at Kennedy Avenue on and off at 8094, they're shut down as well. Calumet Avenue is closed for a pretty long stretch well north there between and Sheffield. State Road 2 south closed between I-65 and 231. Orland Park, there are multiple closures, including Wolf Road, 167th and Southwest Highway. There's some high water farther north of there as well, including water which has Southwest Highway still closed, 131st and 135th. 79th Street flooded, Burr Ridge between Hamilton and Drew. Hanover Park, ComEd crews are working on Lake Street in the area near Cloverdale on the eastbound side. This is after an earlier crash took out power for people in that area. CTA Blue Line trains are stopped at Medical District Station due to an unauthorized person on the tracks. Traffic, service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained with the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial and your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast comes from meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds give way to some sun, high 34. Clouds increase tonight with a low 27. Tomorrow, a mix of clouds, high 38. Low clouds with occasional late night rain and drizzle tomorrow night, low 34. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
31 degrees at O'Hare, 32 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, former FBI director and now special counsel Robert Mueller has unsealed another indictment in his collusion probe, his get Trump probe, as it were.
I call it the witch hunt.
The unsealed criminal charges Tuesday against lawyer Alex Vanderswan for allegedly lying to the FBI back in November about the work his firm performed in 2012 related to Ukraine. The charge ostensibly puts pressure on Manafort business partner Rick Gates, also under indictment, and Manafort, who are both facing criminal charges, including conspiracy to launder money and failure to register as foreign agents in connection with their political work for a pro-Russia Ukrainian party. This has been established. Yanukovych was the strongman that Manafort was working for. The charging documents released on Tuesday say Vanderswan made false statements about the last time he communicated with Gates,
again, Manafort's business partner, and another unnamed person only identified as Person A. He told investigators he did not know why an email between him and Person A was not produced to the special counsel's office, but in fact had actually deleted or failed to produce emails that were being sought. 2012, Ukraine, Gates and Manafort. Now, one could, theorize that this is Mueller's effort to put additional pressure on Gates and probably more importantly Manafort to reveal something he has yet to reveal. Remember, both Gates and Manafort have pled not guilty. Their trials are expected maybe in the fall. And so another lying to the FBI, sort of at best tangentially related to anything 2016. If Paul Manafort hadn't been Trump's campaign chairman for a few months, probably none of this would be happening.
Yeah, and he was only there, you're right, for a few months. So, I mean, this is just getting tiresome. I mean, and it seems like a stretch for everybody that they're trying to, indict on this.
Well,
because they're trying to get closer to President Trump.
And it seems that with every indictment, they get further away. That's the odd thing. Now, could he bring it all back around? There's mountains of things that Mueller knows that I don't, but it doesn't. From the outside perspective, it's difficult to make the case. Mueller's getting warmer. Yeah. He may be getting warmer as it pertains to Paul Manafort's business practices, but as it pertains to obstruction of justice, after the indictment on Friday of the 13 Russians and the 3 companies, no American knowingly participated in the efforts to meddle with the election. That's great news for Michael Moore and CNN and MSNBC, because otherwise they'd all be under indictment. Michael Moore participated in an anti-rally allegedly organized by Russians.
Oh, that's awesome. But he didn't know it at the time,
Of course, right. But wait a second.
Formed all those groups.
I thought that's a colluder. I thought, hey, look.
Can we get him for collusion?
If you put Russian dressing on your dinner salad,
that's
you're in
collusion.
cahoots with Putin. Isn't that the left standard? I thought, so unwittingly applies to the left, but it doesn't apply to anybody who's pro-Trump, but much less Trump himself. This was Michelle Malkin identified this. November 12th, this Trump Tower protest he attended, and this is believed to be one of the post-election phony baloney rallies organized by these Russian meddlers, if you will. So that's kind of fun. CNN and MSNBC helped Russia sow discord by promoting the fake anti-Trump rally. Of course they did. The same November 12th rally covered breathlessly, as anything anti-Trump is covered by both CNN and MSNBC, enthusiastically. Correspondents celebrated the idea that it was a love rally. Repeated the marchers' anti-Trump mantras such as "We reject the president-elect."
Let me guess, did they have "Hate has no home here" sign that I
Probably.
see everywhere?
Probably. But I just love the useful idiots in
It's
the
so
old
awesome.
Soviet vernacular. MSNBC, CNN, Michael Moore. Should they all be indicted? Are they all traitors? Are they all co-conspirators? I mean, honestly.
Well, they're just fooled like other Americans were. I mean, but it's fine. And there's not a crime there.
Well,
the
right.
crime is that they stole, these Russian hackers stole people's social security numbers, opened up PayPal accounts. That was the crime. But
That's
they were
among the
messing with it.
crimes.
They were twinning. They were playing like they're a cat and we're a mouse. They're having a cat and mouse game.
Well, I just want to understand what the standard is for complicity with the Russians, because now that we know that there were people duped across the spectrum, it does unwittingly apply to only those on the left. I'd love to hear answers from Meathead and Michael Moore and the rest of them. And then this development, too. This has been underreported because of everything, obviously, going on in Florida over the last several days. But the possibility, we talked about this briefly, but the possibility that Michael Flynn, who has pled guilty, may withdraw his guilty plea.
Ooh, really? The guilty plea for lying to the FBI?
Right. He's not scheduled to be sentenced till May. And
I love plea reversals.
You don't see him a lot.
No, you don't.
But it's interesting because on Friday, Judge Emmett Sullivan issued an order for the evidence to produce for Flynn's attorneys any exculpatory evidence as it pertains to Flynn's case. Judge Napolitano took this up on Fox yesterday.
Judge Napolitano says that may be no coincidence. He joins us right now. Why would the judge do that?
You know, I've never heard of this. So Mike Flynn pleads guilty to lying to the FBI in December. The judge before whom he pleads guilty takes himself off the case. Why? Because that judge is also on the FISA court, and he may very well have authorized the wiretap that surveilled Mike Flynn when he was talking to then Ambassador Kislyak, which is the alleged lie that he told the FBI about. Okay, so Mike Flynn pleads guilty. A new judge comes in. It's time for sentencing. Bob Mueller says, we don't want to sentence him till May. That's normal. If you have a cooperating witness, you don't want to sentence the witness until after the cooperation is finished. And then the judge, on his own, not in response to any application from General Flynn's lawyers, says, by the way, I want all exculpatory evidence that could help Flynn or hurt the government, turned over, pardon me, to Flynn's lawyers. Why would he want that after General Flynn has already pleaded guilty? That is unheard of. He must suspect a defect in the guilty plea, meaning he must have reason to believe that General Flynn pleaded guilty for some reason other than guilt.
And, of course, you can plead guilty. People plead guilty for a reason other than guilt because of...
John Burge.
Well, he was John Burge.
He tortured. I mean, getting confessions out of people.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, no, I don't think Flynn was tortured.
Car batteries.
I get it now.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but there was supposition that he was trying to protect his son, and the FBI could have said, the special counsel could have said to him, you take this deal, or we go after your son.
Oh, there could have been a number of things that we don't know about.
Money. I don't want to mortgage my house. I don't want to have to liquidate everything I have to pay legal bills. I just want this to be over, knowing that, I can take the hit for this. That's possible. Not saying it's true. It's just saying it's possible that because it happens. But it is a remarkable action by the judge in that case who's been switched in because potentially Contreras, the previous presiding judge, potentially was the FISA court judge who issued the warrant on the basis of the Steele dossier for the wiretapping of Carter Page. I mean, I understand this is like a flow chart. You need to keep track of all this. But the lawyers, Mueller's lawyers, if there's a reversal of this guilty plea, and if there's exculpatory evidence that they did not present, they got another problem. Here we go again with the potentially
special counsel.
Well, not another special counsel, but here we go again potentially with abuse by prosecutors. You arguably the FBI, abuse by law enforcement, but reviewed by prosecutors, with respect to their FISA application for surveillance of Carter Page, and now potentially this case. It's a highly unusual demand by a judge, as Napolitano said, absent any action by Flynn's representation. Boy, this... Not only the more that comes out, does this seem to get further and further away from any evidence of either collusion or obstruction, it also seems to get closer and closer to systemic corruption within prosecutorial and law enforcement and intelligence agencies in our federal government. I mean, it's disturbing stuff.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Coming up next, Vice President Pence's beautiful response to being called mentally ill because he prays in the morning. But first, here's your forecast. Today, much cooler than yesterday. We are at 30... about 30 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 34. We will have some sun and clouds, so at least the rain is behind us. And tomorrow, variable cloudiness, a high of 39. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Jim Delmonte almost wiped out on my back porch today.
Oh, be careful, Amy. Good morning. It's icy in some places. Here in the downtown area, we haven't seen too much of that ice on the sidewalks. Depending on where you are and where those temperatures are, You'll find some slick spots, not just on the porches and sidewalks, but also on the roads. And yet we still have some flooding, too. Bishop Ford Freeway at 130th Street, the ramps are closed there due to the high water. You have delays on the inbound Bishop Ford from Dalton Avenue to 130th. So if you're headed to the Ford plant or somewhere in that area, you need to seek an alternate like Torrance Avenue because the ramps at 130th are shut down and the right lane is closed on the inbound Bishop Ford on 130th. Looking at about a 15-minute delay there. The inbound Bishop Ford. The other expressways and tollways look pretty good. On 8094 at Kennedy Avenue, ramps are closed due to high water, which has Kennedy Avenue closed between 81st Street and 8094. That's in Highland. We still have many flood-related closures in some of the south and southwest suburbs and delays on the CTA Blue Line after there was an unauthorized person on the tracks at the Medical District Station in the West Loop area. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. North Korea heads for diplomacy gold medal at Olympics, was the Reuters headline. Kim Jong-un's sister is stealing the show at the Olympics, CNN reported breathlessly. This is the same D.C. press corps that comes apart at the seams in response to the slightest of provocative tweets or bellicose rhetoric from Trump. Could the press be even more attention-starved than the president? Or is the glowing review of North Korea's chief propagandist just professional courtesy from our chief propagandists? The only other option is that our big government press corps is genuine in their appreciation. It wouldn't be the D.C. press corps' first dalliance with the dictator. The New York Times didn't believe Hitler was sincere in his anti-Semitism. They spent the run-up to the Third Reich profiling Hitler as a Bavarian gentleman who enjoyed strolls with his 3 sheepdogs along majestic mountain trails. The New Republic was similarly enthralled with the Bolshevik Revolution that brought Stalin to power, remarking upon Stalin's energy and positiveness. When both Trump and the D.C. press corps were recently given the opportunity to honor someone on the international stage, Trump chose Otto Warmbier, the D.C. press corps chose the regime that murdered him. Instructive. Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit globalverificationnetwork.com or call 877-695-1179 or visit them online at globalverificationnetwork.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
Follow the world's best golfers at the 82nd Masters Tournament, April 2nd through the 8th on the tournament's official website, masters.com. Log on all week long to experience a tradition unlike any other and follow the Masters on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Masters.com offers live full-screen HD video coverage, including the Par 3 contest, plus real-time scoring, up-to-the-minute tournament news, and more. Masters.com, your official online source for the 2018 Masters.
The wildest show of the winter is gliding into your area. Cars on Ice. Featuring Fishtailing Frank, a triple axle on a double axle, plus a 37-car pileup. Oh, the humanity! Hang on to your steering wheels because it's going to be out of control!
Icy roads are no joke, but salting and clearing can reduce accidents up to 88%. Everything's better with a little salt. Learn more at alittlesalt.org.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, text from 847. So somebody was charged for lying because they deleted emails. Know anyone else who's done something like that? Yeah, how about that? Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm a number and I'm being a dollar and number guy, and you know what? I wonder what this Mueller is costing. And then when you have to defend yourself against a federal charge, it's got to be in the hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars. And the point is, if the government could ruin anybody's life by just dragging out a thing like this guy is doing, I'd like to see a bill that if the government loses, they have to reimburse somebody for all of the funds that they put in to defend themselves. You never hear about that. And I think the federal government actually charges people when they go after you. If you're found guilty, I think you got to reimburse them.
No, you don't reimburse them, but yes, your point about your loser pays point is a fair one. Thanks for the call.
Think of how much money Paul Manafort has spent.
I think what's Mueller's been allocated so far? Is it $4 million or $11 million?
He's
it's
got
in
a
that
staff
range.
of 17 people, so
yeah,
and they're all making six figures and more.
Yes, the bills pile up. There's no question about that.
For what though? Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll diagnose the specifics of Vice President Pence's mental illness.
Exactly. And later, the students in Florida, they're back at it today. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
31 degrees, northwest winds at 12. This morning, the U.S. celebrating Olympic gold in cross-country skiing. It is the first ever Olympic gold medal in cross-country skiing for the U.S. The U.S. actually only has one other medal in cross-country skiing. That was a silver from 1976. The tandem of Jesse Diggins and Keegan Randall posted the top time in the women's sprint, out-hustling Sweden and Norway for Olympic gold. New airstrikes and shelling on the besieged rebel-held suburbs of the Syrian capital, Damascus, killed 10 today. Tens of thousands of civilians are fleeing their homes. A police officer in Mobile, Alabama, is dead after a standoff with a killer.
Mr. Holly is deceased. We don't know if he died as a result of his, self-inflicted injuries. We do know that we had at least one or two officers fire shots on the scene, but we don't know if those rounds actually struck Mr. Holly.
The Mobile police chief moments ago saying the officer was shot and killed responding to the home of a murder suspect. West Point is accepting a junior ROTC student killed in that Florida high school shooting. U.S. Military Academy says it has posthumously admitted 15-year-old Peter Wang. Meantime, hundreds are being bused to Tallahassee, Florida for a rally on tougher gun laws there following the Parkland, Florida shooting. And President Trump is directing the Justice Department to take steps to prohibit gun modifications like bump stocks.
And just a few moments ago, I signed a memorandum directing the Attorney General to propose regulations to ban all devices that turn legal weapons into machine guns.
Bump stocks were used by the shooter in last year's deadly Las Vegas shooting spree. The U.S. Supreme Court will not consider a California gun case. Case challenged a state law requiring a 10-day waiting period on all gun sales. It's a so-called cooling-off period that covers all purchases of firearms. The University of Louisville is giving up its 2013 men's basketball title.
I cannot say this strongly enough. We believe the NCAA is simply wrong to have made this decision.
Louisville interim president Greg Postal says the NCAA is stripping the Cardinals of the title as punishment for the Sex for Recruits scandal. The Illinois Appellate Court has reinstated a Cook County jury's decision to award $3.5 million to the family of a teen killed by a Chicago police officer in 2011. You may recall Nicholas Peruano in 2013 fired 16 shots into a carload of teens as they backed away from him in an alley. He was convicted last year in that case of using excessive force and sentenced to 5 years. 3 women claimed they were sexually harassed while working at the Ford Motor Company's 2 Chicago plants. The women accused co-workers of groping and propositioning. They also claimed there was retaliation against any employee who complained. 4 companies are sharing more than $106 million in City of Chicago contracts to clean city buildings after the existing contractor decided not to seek a renewal. ABM Janitorial gets the biggest chunk of that new business, $68 million, but is subcontracting nearly half of that work to two minority subcontractors. You may recall the city's cleaning business has generated numerous corruption scandals, including falsified women-owned businesses and a lawsuit claiming major political kickbacks. Chicago sports, number 1 Michigan State beat the Fighting Illini in East Lansing 81-61. Ball State topped our Northern Illinois Huskies 77-68. The Bears cleaning up their roster, parting ways with linebacker Jarrell Freeman and 4-time Pro Bowl guard Josh Sitton. The news, a service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained through the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial. Your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by 1-800-4-BLINDS, Chicago. Blinds, shades, and shutters.
Progressive Insurance, offering a way to buy home insurance with their Home Quote Explorer tool. Custom quotes and rates are available online. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Now that's Progressive.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
5:37. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Well, ice is a problem in some areas, high water in others. Many of the closures from yesterday still in place across southwest suburbs, and in northwest Indiana. 80-94, both directions of Kennedy Avenue. Ramps are closed due to flooding. There's a closure of Kennedy Avenue between 80-94 and 81st Street. Bishop Ford inbound traffic is bottled up simply to 130th, where there's high water in the right lane. Ramps at 130th are closed. It's 33 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. I-57, 17 minutes, heavy 127th to 119th. The inbound Ryan has about a 2-minute delay from 18th into downtown. Other expressways and tollways look pretty good. Flood-related closures include in Orland Park, Wolf Road, 167th to 179th, along with Southwest Highway, 131st and 135th. There's still closures of Governor's Highway in Madison, 79th Street in Burr Ridge. Traffic service of Ace. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Your neighborhood Ace has a wide selection of products from the best brands, including Valspar, Craftsman, Scotts, Toro, Weber, Traeger, and Yeti, plus the expertise you need to take on any project with confidence. Only at Ace, the helpful place. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Colder today. Clouds yielding over to a little bit of sun. High 34. Increasing clouds overnight. Low 27. It is 30 right now at O'Hare. 31 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update comes your way at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
See Dan Proft and Donna Brazil go head-to-head at Beyond the Talking Points on Thursday, March 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The question, should Vice President Mike Pence step down to get the treatment he needs for his mental illness that has presented itself in the form of his disturbing praying to God?
Praying to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was on The View last week that Joy Behar, whatever her name is, they called him mentally ill because he'd mentioned that he doesn't hear voices from God, but that he has a relationship with God. And they blasted him. And since then, it's just been unbelievable, the backlash. Yesterday was 25,000. Today, 30,000 people have called ABC and, trying to flood them with phone calls saying that Mike Pence's religious beliefs are not a mental illness. And they're appalled. It's one thing to talk to Jesus and another thing when Jesus talks to you. That's called mental illness. That's exactly what Joy Behar said.
Yeah.
So Mike Pence, he normally doesn't respond, especially
Why would you respond to Joy Behar? Why would you dignify anything Joy Behar has to say with a response? She is a dope. She is on a dopey show that dopes watch, and there's no point. It's one of the things that sometimes people have to learn. There are certain people that, it's too much work. I can't go as far back as I need to go to address all that is wrong with your thinking. And that's, I know it's pop culture and politicians are part of pop culture now. But as I enjoyed Pence's response, which you'll hear, but it would have been better if he just made none.
Oh, really? Because he's made none. They've ripped on him before.
Of course they have.
For, oh my gosh.
Of course they
having
have.
dinner with only his wife.
Right, and how...
Or having his wife come along if there's another female
and how
at the table.
And how vindicated does he look now after the whole Me Too movement of the last year, right? How silly does that look now, Mike Pence's policy? The point is to say that the comments of the Joy Behars of the world that in our sick society are actually given a platform and actually listened to by dopes.
But it's good because the left...
the fact that occurs and what they have to say says more about them than it does, obviously, Mike Pence.
Well, they're heathens. I mean, none of my liberal lady friends go to church or have any relationship with God or ever talk about it.
Well, that's
no, they don't.
The least stunning thing I'll hear today.
I go to a liberal church, but my friends that I have, we never talk about Jesus or their relationship with God or what church they attend because they don't.
No, because they're God. They're their own God. If you want to talk about God, you have to talk about them.
So here's Mike Pence. I love his response. He sat down, yes, of course, Fox News, but they were there. He was traveling. I don't know where he was, but because he goes all over the world.
He was in Dallas on Saturday night speaking to the Dallas County.
You know what?
Reagan Day folks.
This was the next morning before he left to go back to Washington.
Those of us in public life are pretty accustomed to criticism. But when I heard that ABC had a program that likened my Christianity to mental illness, I just couldn't be silent. My Christian faith is probably the most important thing in my life. I do try and start every day reading the Bible. My wife and I try and have a prayer together before I leave the house every morning. But I do think I'm a very typical American. I think people of all different faith traditions cherish their faith in God, and to have ABC have a forum that spoke in such demeaning terms, I think it's evidence of how out of touch some in the mainstream media are with the faith and values of the American people.
Have you ever heard anything so sick? I mean, that is just that he is obviously mentally disturbed.
Oh,
that is crazy talk, what you just heard.
So Joy Behar offered a half-hearted non-apology during her show the next day because they were getting flooded with phone calls, and even, the Media Research Council president penned an open letter to ABC demanding an apology. Here's what she said. I don't mean to offend people, but apparently I keep doing it. It was a joke. Oh, really? Comparing his relationship with God as to a mental illness? Who's mentally ill here?
Well,
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me to muster outrage about Joy Behar because I know who she is. Yeah. So I expect nothing better from her. I mean, don't forget, this is a woman who, when Sarah Palin said her favorite author was C.S. Lewis, Joy Behar responded, "That's a children's book author." That's all she knew about C.S. Lewis, is that he writes children's books. I mean, the ignorance of Joy Behar and those other magpies on The View.
Where'd my girl Paula Ferris go?
I mean, it's just, honestly, it's...
Well, Meghan McCain there to sit, though, next to her and let her say that and not push back. Shame on her.
Are we actually going to diagram The View?
No, I'm just... they've said a lot of outlandish and crazy things, but to compare his relationship with God to mental illness is just too much even for me.
Well, I mean, that's the left. That's the unvarnished left. What you hear from these dopes like Joy Behar is what is center cut for the left. That's what the left actually thinks, including their high-minded intellectual set. They just don't say it in those stark terms that Joy Behar did. So I guess in one sense, thinking about it a little bit more than I ever wanted to, I think in one sense, she is providing a service because she's telling you what the Democrat Party thinks, the leadership of it. She's telling you what the leftist intellectuals that are in control of our cultural institutions, including higher ed, frankly, including all of ed, think. She's telling you what they think. That's who they are. It's just they package it a lot better. They sanitize it for you in a way that Joy Behar doesn't.
And she's a heathen. It's all right.
Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I don't understand these people that claim to be a Christian and a liberal. They're mutually exclusive. You can't be both. If you read the Bible, I don't know if they read that at your church, Amy, but Luke 22:36 says, "Sell your cloak and buy a sword." It's okay to have a weapon to defend yourself. You know it's not okay if you're a Christian? To support a wholesale genocide of innocent children through abortion. You can't be a hypocrite. You can't criticize people who have guns but think abortion's okay.
Thanks for the call, Mike. It's interesting. That's John Cass column today.
Oh, what is?
John Cass writing about Florida and about cultures of death. After Florida, politics and the clash of death cultures is Cass's piece in the Tribune today. This cannot be a political issue, he quotes Kamala Harris. We have to have smart gun safety laws. Our babies are being slaughtered. Cass writes, the political left, to which Harris belongs, seeks political advantage and public grief. Vigorously condemn those who support the Second Amendment as being part of the culture of death. Hollywood is adding leverage. George Clooney, his wife announced they're donating $500,000 to March for Our Lives demonstrations for gun control. It's being sold this way, a battle of rights between the right to bear arms and the rights of the students to life as America approaches the 18 midterm elections. And those who don't quickly move to, quote-unquote, do something to weaken the Second Amendment are vilified as moral cowards, as gun nuts in support of the death culture. Yet there is another culture of death. It's a culture where the lives of other innocent children are also taken. You might say they're slaughtered every day. Abortion. Estimates suggest there have been between 50 and 60 million abortions since Roe v. Wade. And if 50 million to 60 million souls are not evidence of a culture of death, I don't know what is. Yeah. Those condemning the right to bear arms are given great license, and it all gets funneled into the social media echo chamber. And those who oppose abortion are quickly marginalized by the left and mocked on TV as the crazy people who listen to Jesus, like Mike Pence. Who's crazy?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, you're Paul. I'm the new Sprintern.
Sprint Plus.
Intern. Yeah, clever, right?
I was just...
Look at getting an amazing iPhone 8.
Yeah, because...
Now you can lease one iPhone 8, get the other one on Sprint.
And you get the best price for unlimited. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, now you're going to give your second phone to your new friend. Wow, Paul. Oh
my God, it's amazing.
Get the best price for unlimited. And now get one iPhone 8 and give a second one on us. Or get iPhone 10 for only $30 a month. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com/iPhone, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 today.
Requires 18-month leases for well-qualified customers. Early termination results in remaining amounts due. Excludes tax credits applied within 2 bills. iPhone 8, 64GB, $29.17 a month. Second iPhone 8 after $29.17 a month credit. iPhone 10, 64GB, $30 a month after $11.67 a month credit. Unlimited after $131.19. Pay $38 per month per line with autopay. Excludes taxes, surcharges, and roaming compared to unlimited HD plans for 5 lines. Carrier features differ. Coverage not for net everywhere subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules, and restrictions apply.
Hello, this is Jeff with How May I Help You?
Hi, Jeff. I just have some questions about your weight loss supplement. Is it safe to take with medications?
I don't think so.
Okay, so are there any side effects to this product?
I'm gonna have to put you on hold for a second. Hello? Yes, there are. It just depends on your body type. I would check with a healthcare professional first.
Okay, so is it all natural?
I do not believe so.
Okay, well, all those are standard with Calitrin, so I'm probably just going to go with them.
Okay.
Thanks anyway.
Thank you. Bye.
This is John. I've lost 123 pounds thanks to Calitrin.
Hi, my name is Yasmin. I started Calitrin, and I am now down to my high school weight, and I couldn't be happier.
Hello, my name is Joyce. I've used Calitrin for a while, and I've lost 61 pounds. I've gone from a size 24 to a size 16, and it makes my sister-in-laws jealous.
There's no comparison to Calitrin. See for yourself at toploss.com.
Looking to refinance your existing mortgage and want the lowest rates and lowest closing costs? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Other lenders boast about having low closing costs, which is like me saying I look good in a pair of 32-inch pants. Truth is, other lenders' closing costs are substantially higher than Team Hochberg's closing costs, and I haven't fit into a pair of 32-inch pants in over 40 years. Compare Team Hochberg's closing costs against any other lenders, and if our closing costs aren't lower, I'll donate to Veterans Roasters, an organization who hires homeless veterans to roast coffee, and an organization Team Hochberg already financially supports. When securing a mortgage, you can either work with a lender whose definition of low closing costs are over $1,000 higher than ours, or you can call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Trust, trust, trust. Yes, I said trust 3 times because I want to tell you about a recent AM 560 charity benefactor and company that built their business and reputation over 3 decades by being trustworthy. I'm talking about Dependable Construction and founder Joe Barron. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Joe started as a laborer, then progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Dependable Construction has grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Barron. So call Joe at Dependable Construction today. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091 or visit tuckpointchicago.net. tuckpointchicago.net.
The expensive mattress you're considering buying is a waste of money because it isn't customized to you. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, the only place to get a customized mattress starting at just $600. Just go to HelixSleep.com, fill out our 2-minute sleep survey, and we'll design a mattress made just for you. With a 100-night sleep trial and financing as low as 0%. For a limited time, get $50 off your mattress order when you go to HelixSleep.com/talkradio. That's HelixSleep.com/talkradio.
People make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
Nobody should have to live with depression. Not anymore.
It's a new year.
Chips. In a few short weeks, your life will change. It's FDA cleared, safe, and it's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare. TMS therapy treats the cause of your depression. Millions have been treated. The results, nothing short of outstanding. HBR centers are proud to bring TMS therapy to Chicagoland and Milwaukee.
You need to take the first step. Call.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
HBR centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this hour. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Eisenhower is very heavy early with delays from Manheim to Austin. It is 54 minutes from 390 to downtown. Outbound 37, the Laramie to Ridgeland, where there's a crash. Kennedy has early delays. Cumberland to Canfield and Addison to Diversity, where a crash quickly cleared. It's 26 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound is fine. Edens is good. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 37. It's bottled up, 159th to 130th, flooding in the right lane. Ramps from 130th, Yappa and Bishop Ford are closed. Tollways look pretty good. There's flooding on 8094 Kennedy Avenue, closing the ramps at Kennedy. Traffic, service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained. The power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial. Your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Increasing amounts of sun throughout the day today with a high 34. Then clouds will increase tonight with a low 27. Tomorrow, mix of clouds, high 38. Rain and drizzle late at night on occasion with a low 34. And a little rain early in the morning Friday, otherwise cloudy, high 45. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 30 at O'Hare, 31 along the lakefront. The news, a service of Accountemps. When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Accountemps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance pros on a temporary or project basis fast. Call today. Accountemps is a Robert Half company. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. Chicago Public Schools watchdog says thousands of elementary school students were improperly enrolled last year. Top Democrat in the Illinois State House and head of the state's Democratic Party says he'll cooperate with a review of sexual harassment policies just hours after Democratic lawmakers in Springfield demanded that investigation. People's Gas is agreeing to pay nearly $5 million to end an investigation of waste in its gas main replacement program. Authorities say in Montana, an Illinois man has died while on a treasure hunt. Number 1, Michigan State pulls away to beat the Fighting Illini. Ball State beat our Northern Illinois Huskies. And the slumping Blackhawks are back on the ice tonight against the Senators. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
They got an ovation when they arrived at the state capitol. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The students from Parkland, Florida, demanding stricter gun laws after their school was shot up last week, killing 17 people.
This is never going to happen again like this. No more families won't have their kids at home anymore.
But Alfonso Calderon and the other students got a big disappointment watching a vote in the gallery.
The state house in Florida already considered bringing up a measure that would ban assault rifles and decided not to do so. We talked to the Senate President's office here in Tallahassee. They say they're still going to try to consider a number of gun control measures.
Fox's Rich Edson in Tallahassee. President Trump will meet with some students and teachers from Parkland today, as well as some who lived through the Columbine and Sandy Hook school shootings, listening to their ideas on school safety. The president's also calling for tougher gun regulations. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, in a surprise move, President Trump directed Attorney General Jeff Sessions to ban firearm modifiers, including the bump stock used in the Las Vegas massacre.
I expect that these critical regulations will be finalized, Jeff, very soon.
The National Rifle Association has also called for additional regulations for bump stocks designed to make semi-automatic rifles fire faster. Last night, the president tweeted, "Whether we are Republican or Democrat, we must now focus on strengthening background checks." Dave?
Rachel, police officers dead at Alabama. Shot last night by a man, Robert Holley, who was barricaded in his home after his ex-wife was found dead. Then hours after a standoff ended, finally.
Mr. Holley is deceased. We don't know if he died as a result of his, self-inflicted injuries.
Mobile Police Chief Lawrence Batiste. Another gold medal for Team USA at the Olympics. The first one ever in women's cross-country skiing. Lindsey Vonn won bronze in downhill skiing. That said it was her last Olympic race. And the men's hockey team was eliminated, beaten in the quarterfinals by the Czech Republic. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by AM Woodland Outdoor Design.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, how about this turn of events? Donald Trump turns out to be tougher on guns than Barack Obama. Want to wrap your minds around that, leftists, gun banners. Trump yesterday ordering the Justice Department to issue regulations banning the so-called bump stocks, which convert semi-autos into automatic weapons like...
the Las Vegas shooter used.
Right. He also tweeted out about strengthening background checks. So that's what Trump has had to say in the direction of gun control policy.
And he spoke
over the last 24 hours.
And he spoke yesterday.
We must do more to protect our children. We have to do more to protect our children. I expect that these critical regulations will be finalized, Jeff, very soon.
And he looked at Jeff Sessions, who was in the front row.
Yeah.
And today he's meeting with, for a listening session, he's meeting with survivors of Parkland, Florida, survivors of Sandy Hook, and Columbine.
Remember, the bump stock issue was an ATF issue. It was an ATF call under the previous administration, and they did not move to prohibit them. And the president is moving to change that. So this doesn't require legislative action. It's administrative action. And so thus his reference to the Department of Justice. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Your reaction to Trump's reaction to the reactions emanating from Florida and the left.
Well, I think the students in Florida are realizing that demanding change is easier than persuading lawmakers to do it, because yesterday at their state capitol in Tallahassee, there was a law to ban assault weapons, and it went down 36 to 71. And a lot of students from Parkland were, in the gallery and were shocked.
The next death of someone with an assault rifle here in Florida is going to be on them. It's going to be on them, and it's going to be their fault that those people are dead, and that those people aren't going to go home to their families, and that there's going to be an empty space in people's lives, and it's going to be their fault.
Honestly.
It doesn't stop. I mean, no, and then it'll go on, and for a half hour, they'll interview these kids who are out of their mind.
It's like child porn. It's like exploitive of children.
Well, she's a junior, and she lost two of her friends.
And the media is trying to sensationalize her grief. It's disgusting.
Is it disgusting, or is this a new movement? Because they're saying, they're demanding, they're going to take down the NRA. They're demanding that they're going to do whatever they can to not support lawmakers who have positive ratings from the NRA, who are refusing to ban assault weapons.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're having a town hall tonight where Jake Tapper's flying down to meet with them for about gun control in schools. That's why some of them aren't going to meet President Trump, because they're busy.
Well, are we seriously talking about high school kids?
They have a voice. They are all over cable news.
So you are seriously talking about them. I'm not.
Well, I think that they need to go, and I'm not being rude, but I really think they need to go back to school, because they have all this time, and that's when they're forming these organizations, and they have a right to do that, be a part of the civil process. But they need counseling. They need help too.
Here's a thought. Leave kids alone. Stop amplifying them. Stop rushing to them with TV cameras as the means of consolation, disingenuous as it is. It's exploitive. And also, this is the time for adults to have a conversation.
Well, they don't believe adults are having the conversation.
I'm not interested in that. They can have their opinions and they can express their grief however they want to express it. I'm not interested in commenting on them. Leave them alone. You're dragging them into debates that they're not, frankly, really a part of. Yes, they can go to Tallahassee, and they can go to every other state capital, and they can go to D.C. with George Clooney's $500,000.
And Oprah's $500,000.
And they can have a march.
And they're doing that.
Fine. We can talk about what they've gone through, and we can talk about how they should be tended to bring them into this the way that the media is, or frankly, the way that you're trying to, as if they're particularly...
I'm just reporting what's happening, because this is, and that's just one by, I could do a whole half hour screaming kids.
I understand. And what we're asking for from adults is judgment. That's what adults are supposed to provide, and the fact that they don't provide it in this society, in so many instances, is part of one of the fundamental problems with our culture. All right, so you want to talk screaming kids. I want to talk about what adults have to say. So let's go to an adult. Ben Watson, He's a celebrity of sorts. He's an NFL football player. We've had him on the show before. Ben Watson has something to say about the culture.
We have to look at our culture as a whole. We incarcerate our young men at alarming rates. We vote for things that create the disintegration of the family. We murder 60 million of our unborns since Roe v. Wade. We're a culture that really gravitates toward violence. And so while we must hold this young man accountable, we need to step back and say, hold on, what are we as parents teaching our children? How are we as teachers dealing with kids when they have certain conflict in the classroom? All these things are very important. So it's easy to say that it's one thing or the other, that it's guns or it's a law that needs to be changed. And while that may be the case, on a larger aspect, we need to, as individuals, as parents, as a community, as a culture, identify where we've gone wrong and be willing and have the courage to fix it.
Yeah. If we could dispense with the screaming kids for 5 seconds.
No, Dan, I take issue with that because kids are a part of the conversation because they're the ones being killed. They're the ones who are not safe in their schools. And they have all this time and they have all this grief and they don't know what to do except they want change. And they think in their young minds, because they have not fully developed yet, that if you ban assault rifles, that this is all going to go away.
What are you talking about?
They're
There's a lot of adults who haven't fully formed their mental capacity either and think the same thing.
They think that their school shooting is going to be the last school shooting. And I've heard so many kids say that. It's like, why? I wish it was, but that's not the reality of the world we live in.
And it is embarrassing to litigate what a bunch of grieving teenagers have to say. And it is exploitive to amplify it. I'm not criticizing
an hour of exploitation tonight at this town hall. I mean, I want to watch it, and then I don't even want to watch it.
Well, that's fine. CNN can do whatever it want. I don't want to participate.
They're also coaching them.
I don't want to participate. I'm not criticizing the kids. Leave them alone. I couldn't be more clear on this. They can have their opinion. They can do everything they want as fully formed Americans with all of our constitutional rights. Leave them alone rather than exploiting them. That's what's happening here. And oh, by the way, if you want to have the kind of sober adult conversation that nobody wants, not nobody, a lot of people don't want to have because it's easier to amplify crying children, exploit crying children. It's easier to be a sentimental barbarian, which is fundamental to the problem in this culture. Or you can be thoughtful. More Ben Watson.
But what cries out to me the most is that people are hurting. This young man went through so much in his life, so much tragedies, and people are really hurting. And when you take faith out of the public arena, when you take God out of there, people suffer. And whether you believe you're a Christian or not, those principles really carry us through. I mean, talking to my father, who has seen kind of how things have changed over the course of his lifetime, a lot of people of his generation point to the fact that when we start to remove God from the public sphere, we start to suffer the consequences.
Yeah, and just to add a secular component to that, we talked about it yesterday. How about the fifth grade teacher who was profiled in Reader's Digest by a parent who's one of her students, parent of one of her students. Here's what she does ever since Columbine. Tries to figure out, by getting feedback from the class, who they want to sit next to, who's popular, who isn't, which kids are not being selected, which kids are being socially ostracized, which kids could potentially be in danger. She makes the point that all violence begins with disconnection. All outward violence begins as inner loneliness. One teacher, one fifth grade teacher, doing things differently. Why isn't that being amplified? Why isn't she in the town hall meeting tonight with her perspective, what she's actually doing as a practitioner in the space with kids every day?
They should have her, but they're not because it's so easy to be emotional and exploit these children who are grieving. And some of their parents are standing right next to them, like almost promoting for them to speak up and be the next leader.
And oh, by the way,
next YouTube sensation.
Oh, by the way, there's a diversity of opinion among survivors of these horrific events, too. As we pointed out yesterday, I'll point out again, a Republican legislator who survived Columbine introduced legislation in Colorado to end schools as gun-free zones, to move to allow for teachers to be trained and armed, right to carry permits, to be exercised within schools. And for the left, the NRA and the GOP want to arm teachers. Well,
in Ohio, they had a gun trainer offered concealed carry classes to teachers and filled up like that. What, 250 teachers?
Yeah, a local sheriff. 50 spots, 250 teachers signed up in less than 24 hours. So maybe some teachers want to arm themselves. What about that perspective? We can hear that at the town hall? Is that going to be amplified? What about hardening schools as targets? Is that going to be part of the conversation? Is that going to be amplified? Or you just want crying teenagers talking about assault weapon bans, things that they know only marginally more about than Nancy Pelosi? Marty in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, guys. Great show as usual. Two things. Number one, Dan, you're right. I'm watching the news this morning as I have my coffee, and they go right to the high school girl who's crying her eyes out, and which I raised two daughters. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but in this situation, there is something wrong with that. It's called exploitation. And number two, I had heard that the NRA donated $10,000 to this school's ROTC program.
Yeah.
Do you know if that's true?
Yeah.
They did.
To JROTC.
They did.
Right.
Did the school give this money back to the NRA?
No, it was to update equipment, and the NRA donates money to a lot of JROTC programs.
I understand that, but it's being weaved as to look what the NRA did. They promote this kind of stuff by
that's right.
Did the school give the money back? Is my question.
Yeah, no, they didn't. The school did not, and you're right. It's been misreported. It was misreported much worse than that. It was misreported as they financed, the shooter to learn marksmanship. I mean, it's so absurd and reckless. But we're going to have this important conversation when people are manufacturing lies and then amplifying them through the platforms that they operate.
Do you think they're going to get rid of their JROTC program?
Why would they?
They better not. I'm saying I hope that they don't, because they took blood money from the NRA.
Right. And again, the sensible, thoughtful, important conversation that starts with the left saying the NRA is a terrorist organization. So that means that 2 million NRA members are terrorists. That's how you want to find common ground, do you? Okay. Tom in Schaumburg.
Good morning. After listening to that high school girl screaming and crying, I can't think of a better reason for lawmakers to raise the voting age to about 24, and also should have to have a current paycheck stub for a job that you're working before you can go out and vote. Maybe then you'll know what the world is all about. And secondly, I think the Republicans are missing an opportunity here right now, because right now is the time for them to create what we should call the School Security Act of 2018. And this whole mess in Florida should be blamed on Obama, because after Sandy Hook, he did nothing except encourage the Sandy Hook people to file lawsuits against the gun companies for manufacturing a legal product. I'm surprised they didn't file lawsuits against the car company that manufactured the car that kid used to transport himself and his guns to Sandy Hook. Nothing was done after Sandy Hook. Right now, what we should be doing is the same thing we did after 9/11. We created the TSA, and we put security in the airports. Now we need to put it in the schools so the kids are protected. We got off-duty cops out there. We got ex-military out there. We've got a lot of people that could do that work, and schools are only open 8 hours a day anyway. What are we talking about, 2-3 cops in every school? Sometimes, in some cases, only one cop that could do the job?
Thanks for the call, Tom. I don't know about TSA being a model for school security, but okay.
And some schools already have, metal detectors.
And security guards.
And security guards.
Right.
That are armed. I mean, we have a security guard that's not armed. We need to arm him.
Well, I mean, and even...
But we just have to stop them from getting in, because once they get in, that's when holy hell breaks loose.
Well, even simple things. Mike Scott, we were talking off air about this young man who invented a doorstop that literally prevents you from opening the door. It's like 4 metal pieces.
Really?
Where you would basically have to break down the door to get in, and I mean, again, in these instances, the shooters know they've got a short time and they're killing indiscriminately. They're not going to have time to break down a door. So, I mean, it's just one, easy layer of additional defense. It's not the whole solution. I'm just saying there are easy things that can be done to harden schools as targets and disincentivize people that, whatever their mental infirmities are, know what they're doing in most of these cases.
I know, and I still, want to find out how Cruz got into the school. Did
He shot his way in.
Shot his way in.
Yeah. Frank in St. Charles.
Yeah, good morning. 2 quick points. Right after the Las Vegas shooting, the NRA, Wayne LaPierre, he was on TV saying he is against a ban on bump fire stocks, which is no surprise. Second, anytime an 18-year-old can buy an assault weapon in Florida, something needs to be done with the law. I mean, come on, 18 years old, and he can walk in and buy an AK-47 or an AR-15. Are they afraid to even strengthen that, raise it to at least 21 or more? Really?
Thanks for the call, Frank. Yeah.
I'm all for raising the purchasing age to 21.
No, I know. There's a lot of people, you and Frank, are for arbitrary measures that make you feel good. I got
Make me
it.
feel good. I don't. Have you talked to an 18-year-old? I don't want an 18-year-old driving a car, let alone owning a gun.
But
they're not mature enough.
But again, they're mature enough to die for our country. I'm sorry, is your microphone on?
No, yeah, I would make an exception if they're enrolled in or enlisted in the Army.
Right.
There can be a special exception for them if they really want to buy an assault rifle.
How about for voting? What about because they're not mature except in their military service? What about the right to vote only for service men and women?
We should raise everything to 21. When you can buy a pack of cigs, when you could get a beer.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Cold
Random.
One. Pop open a cold one on a Sunday.
Neil in the Grange.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Just to touch on what you said a little bit ago about hardening the schools, I'm a school board member, and over the last 2 years, what we've done is that we've changed all of our entrances. Instead of now, every one of our entrances are locked. We have cameras everywhere, but all of the main entrances, and we have 4 of them, we've gone to actually did construction at the school and put double entrances, so kind of like put sally ports.
Yeah.
And really, when they put them in, we really made sure that the doors are very not secure, but also hardened doors. So it takes, you got to get buzzed in one, and then once you're in the one, then that one locks, and then the front one unlocks in front of you. But you have to go into the office first. So we've done things like that.
Yeah, no, that's thanks for the call, Neil.
That's one of the things. But nobody ever talks about is that one thing that all of these tragedies have in common is they all happen in gun-free zones.
Mm-hmm.
And concealed carry license holders as a group are more law-abiding than police officers as a group.
Thanks for the call, Neil. Appreciate the perspectives on both counts. Art in Chicago.
Good morning, guys. I actually agree with President Trump and the Attorney General's wanting to ban these gimmicky devices like bump stocks and trigger cranks and electronic triggers that increase the rate of fire. I think we as gun owners have skated the line between legal and illegal for far too long. I mean, there are regulations out there for people that want to be able to own machine guns. You pay a $200 tax stamp, you get licensed from the government, and that's all well and good. And for too long, gun owners have decided, well, we don't want to do that, so we're going to create this device that doesn't really turn it into a machine gun, but replicates a machine gun because we can.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it's irresponsible of gun owners, and the same thing can be said with like short barrel rifles. You got to pay tax stamps and get licensed to own short barrel rifles, but if you call it a pistol and you put this certain kind of thing on it, it's technically a pistol, but it acts like a short barrel rifle. I mean, I think for far too long as responsible gun owners, I mean, I'm an NRA member myself. I'm a Trump supporter. As a responsible gun owner, I think as a whole, we have done far too much to hurt our cause by trying to skate that line between legal and illegal.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the call, Art. We'll get a reaction to what Trump had to say from Todd Vandermeide, who's the executive director of FFL Illinois, which is a gun dealers trade association here at the top of the 7 o'clock hour, so you want to stay tuned for that. Lewis in Texas.
Good morning, Dan. Amy, how are you doing this morning?
Morning.
Good.
the point that I wanted to make is what kind of Ben Watson, the NFL player, made is, a lot of these issues have to do with the upbringing of these children and the way they're taught. Amy, you made a point about these kids being immature at 18 years old. And in a way, you're right. A lot of these kids are immature, but you know what? That's the upbringing. Guns have been around for over 100 years, and there have never been these types of shootings before, especially in the South. And it's because these children were taught that guns are bad. You use them for certain things. They're not used to kill people. And, today these kids aren't being taught that. It's not video games. It's not music. It's not nothing else. Society and parents are not teaching these kids the lessons that they need to learn. There was a video of a teacher she was in the school, I think, with a bunch of 8th graders, and Trump was on the TV on a projector she had, and she was pointing a red fake gun at him going bang, bang. Now, what kind of lesson does that teach these young, impressionable minds of 8th graders, that if you don't like somebody or you don't agree with them, you just can go ahead and bang, bang and shoot them?
Yeah.
The upbringing.
You saw the billboard that popped up yesterday in Florida, Kill the NRA.
Yeah.
I mean, Victor Davis Hanson has a good piece. Thanks for the call, Lewis. Victor Davis Hanson has a good piece in National Review today on that topic. Kill chic, how it's fine for the left to, talk in the rhetoric of murdering political opponents, but it's not fine for people to retain and be concerned about retaining their right of self-protection in the actual world, the real world. Interesting piece.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Here illegally, Manuel Orrego Zavala was deported twice and had multiple convictions and arrests. Drunk, he hit and killed Jeffrey Monroe and Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson. It was a senseless tragedy, and it never should have happened. Politicians in Washington have ignored this issue for far too long. We must build the wall, ban sanctuary cities, and put an end to chain migration. There are lives at stake.
Businessman and conservative outsider Mike Braun is the right choice for voters concerned about illegal immigration. Braun understands that we can't have a country without borders, and in the United States Senate, he'll help President Trump pass his agenda. Too often, dangerous criminals here illegally cause tragic deaths. President Trump can change things, and we can help by electing conservative businessman Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Gentlemen, when it comes to good health and quality of life, there are numbers every man needs to know, including our testosterone number. I personally recommend my friends at Low T Center. That's where I got my levels tested recently. They make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site laboratory, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause lack of motivation and drive. It can even raise your cholesterol levels, cause weight gain and loss of muscle mass. If you've been experiencing any of these symptoms, it's time to get your levels checked. At Low T Center, they accept most health insurance and will verify it for you. Low T Center's physicians specialize in treating low testosterone levels in men. They know men's health and are reinventing men's health care. When it comes to your health and daily quality of life, do what I did. Get your numbers checked. You owe it to yourself. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's 312-239-3427. Call 312-239-3427 or go to lowtcenter.com for more information. That's lowtcenter.com.
It's time for Schrank Smoking Gun's annual store-wide sale. I'm Beth Schrank, here to share some exciting deals for you during our sale, February 16th through the 24th. Get the hot Taurus Millennium for just $225 or a TriStar Cobra 2 home protection shotgun for $300. How about the Smith & Wesson M&P Sport 2 for $500? All other firearms are up to 40% off. Enter our raffle to win a locally made Civilian Force Arms Xena rifle. Half of the ticket revenue will be donated to the Midwest Veterans Closet, where veterans shop for free. Save on ammo, magazines, holsters, cigars. All store-owned inventory is on sale. And avoid Cook County taxes too. For details, visit our website, smoke_gun.org, or call 847-662-4034. And find us on Facebook and Instagram. I'll see you at our annual sale, February 16th to 24th at Schrank Smoking Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, save on just what you need to take care of your home. Get our coupon at acehardware.com and save 25% on a regular priced item under $50. That's right, 25% off on the product of your choice. And only Ace has the brands you love and the advice you trust. So hurry in and get your 25% savings now through Monday only at your neighborhood Ace. Offer valid with coupon at participating stores through February 26th. Limit 1. Exclusions apply. See coupon.
Napa know-how. Keeping it simple is usually a good thing. And when it comes to rewards programs, keeping it simple is always a good thing. That's why we made the Napa Rewards program effortless. All you need is your phone number to start saving on the parts and tools you need. Then we automatically give you $5 off your next purchase for every 100 you spend. So start saving today with Napa Rewards. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
AM 560.
The Answer.
We'd like to thank Melissa Murakowski. Oh, boy. You know I'm a name assassinator.
Boy, that's a hate crime against the Polish people.
Melissa Murakowski. We want to thank you for listening to AM 560. Thanks for making Chicago's Morning Answer and AM 560 part of your day, Melissa Murkowski. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You're doing a great job, or heck of a job, I guess is the paraphrasing. Heck of a job, Brucey. 4th case of Legionnaire's disease at that veterans home in Quincy, diagnosed yesterday, just a month after that little PR stunt he pulled.
And also more calls for Mike Madigan to step down in an investigation they want. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
30 degrees, skies are cloudy. President Trump welcoming students, parents, and teachers to the White House today. They'll talk about how to keep schools safe. Florida lawmakers were not influenced by a gallery filled with survivors of the Parkland High School shooting. Yesterday, students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High lobbied lawmakers without any debate. House Republicans in Florida then refused to vote on a measure banning assault weapons, killing that measure for now. Meantime, White House spokesman Sarah Sanders says the Trump administration has been impacted by the school shooting.
Here at the White House, the victims and families have constantly been in our thoughts and prayers. We've prayed for the recovery of those injured and for peace and comfort for the families of those who were lost.
17 were killed at Parkland High 1 week ago. Police officer in Mobile, Alabama is dead after a standoff with a murder suspect.
Officer Billa did not survive his injuries.
That's the police chief of Mobile, Alabama this morning, saying the officer was killed responding to the home of that suspect in a murder yesterday. The suspect was found dead after an hours-long standoff. The U.S. is celebrating a gold medal this morning, their first ever gold in cross-country skiing. Tandem of Jesse Diggins and Keegan Randall posted the top time in the women's team sprint, finishing 19/100ths of a second ahead of Sweden. New airstrikes and shelling on the besieged rebel-held suburbs of the Syrian capital has killed 10. The U.S. Supreme Court will not consider a California gun case. The case challenges a state law requiring a 10-day waiting period on all gun sales. The so-called cooling-off period covers all purchases of firearms. Chicago Public Schools watchdog says thousands of elementary school students were improperly enrolled last year. The audit does not name affected schools or administrators. 3 women claim they were sexually harassed while working at Ford Motor Company's 2 Chicago plants. Speaking yesterday at the City Council Finance Committee meeting, the women accused co-workers of groping and propositioning them. They also claimed there was retaliation against any employees who complained. The top Democrat at the Illinois State House and head of the state's Democratic Party says he will cooperate with a review of sexual harassment policies in his political organization, just hours after senior Democrat lawmakers in Springfield demanded that investigation into House Speaker Mike Madigan. Chicago sports, number 1 Michigan State, pulled away in the second half to beat Illinois 81-61 in East Lansing. Ball State toppled our Northern Illinois Huskies on the hardwood 77-68. Tonight, DePaul is at number 3 Villanova. The news, a service of Ace. Ace is the helpful place with the helpful hardware folks. Your neighborhood Ace has a wide selection of products from the best brands Valspar, Craftsman, Scotts, Toro, Weber, Traeger, and Yeti. Plus, the expertise you need to take on any project with confidence. Only at Ace, the helpful place. 6:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes kids should take a year before going to college.
I have advocated to parents that they not send their child to college right after high school. The ideal is to work for a year, especially as a waiter or waitress. I think that it has a built-in conservatism because reality is conservative.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period. The following is a paid political announcement.
Governor Bruce Rauner spent 4 years betraying Republicans. Now that he wants to be re-elected, he needs help from his friends in Springfield and Chicago, like Personal PAC, a group that spent $4 million helping Mike Madigan defeat conservatives. Personal PAC is a pro-abortion group with a history of also funding Planned Parenthood, and Personal PAC recently attacked Jeannie Ives. They're attacking Jeannie Ives because Ives fought against HB 40, which forces taxpayers to pay for abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. Jeannie Ives wasn't alone in her opposition of this horrible law. She was joined by every single Republican legislator in Springfield, but Governor Rauner lied to Illinois Republicans and Cardinal Cupich, then betrayed everyone when he signed the bill anyway. And now that you know Benedict Rauner is a traitor to Republicans, you can vote for the real Republican in the race for governor. Vote for Jeannie Ives for governor. She's the conservative reformer Illinois needs. Log on to ivesforillinois.com to learn more. Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Many flood-related closures remain in place, including 30 in Joliet between Briggs and Hillcrest, Kennedy Avenue and Highland, 8094 to 81st Street, and the ramps from 8094 to Kennedy are closed. Hammond, there's a closure of a long stretch of Calumet Avenue, Bune and Sheffield. Edens is 40 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, going to crash at Elston. Outbound fine at 19. Kennedy, 31 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. Got Eisenhower, the jam. Manheim to Austin, 58 minutes. 390 to downtown, outbound 40. Stevenson now 56 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 20 minutes. 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 40 minutes. 8094 to the merge. The 130th, there's flooding in the right lane. 8094, again, the exits to Kennedy are closed. Tollway still fairly light. Traffic service at Walgreens. Looking to save money on your Medicare Part D prescriptions? As a preferred pharmacy, Walgreens offers copays as low as $0 on Tier 1 generics on select plans. Switch your prescriptions and start saving today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A colder day ahead. Clouds will yield to a bit of sun. We'll have a high of 34. Clouds on the increase and a low of 27 overnight. Currently 30 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldstone Financial, helping you become financially independent at goldstonefinancialgroup.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here, CNN Town Hall on guns and gun control. Funny, they'll never have a town hall on the breakdown of the family in America. We'll talk about it when freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, I want to hear from Rauner supporters if you have the guts to call in. Do you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line.
Oh, yeah.
646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do any Rauner supporters have the guts to call into this show? Or are y'all prevaricating pansies like he is?
Prevaricating pansies? That was the name of my junior high band.
Oh, that was it? Who is that?
It was a cover band.
Bangles cover band?
Edie Brickell.
Oh, Edie Brickell. Really? Okay. All right.
No, you're right.
She made Paul Simon very happy, as far as I understand.
Oh, hey. Too soon. No, well, you're right. Would any Governor Rauner supporters call into the station?
Yeah, they're
have some of them called?
They're cowards.
Do they know the number's 312-642-5600.
They just care about a checkbook. They love being stabbed in the back. They love betrayals. They love enemies inside the perimeter. They love Republicans who do the work of Chicago Democrats. That's why we're the super minority party in the state. That's why the state's the worst governed state in the history of America. And they love it, and they want more of it because he's got money to, pay off political organizations and
Lobbyists.
Support a few candidates and then throw his mug on TV, and that's all that matters. That's why things are going so well. And because as Republicans, we care so much about how veterans are treated and that we as a nation and as a state keep our promises to our veterans, right? I am flabbergasted at how little coverage this story has been provided by the press, the Chicago press, which is, left-wing hacks, the Springfield press, which is more left-wing hacks. If it wasn't for Mike Tobin at Fox amplifying this to a national issue, and frankly, like Rich Miller at Capitol Facts, who's been on this issue every step of the way, and some legislators, like Ronner's opponent, Jeannie Ives. So let's just understand something. Since July of 2015, Ronner was governor. 13 veterans and family members at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy have died from Legionnaire's disease. In July of 2016, asked about the outbreak of Legionnaires at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy, Ronner said, "We're really on top of the situation." 3 more people got Legionnaire's disease. A Korean veteran died. Fast forward to this year, as the problem persists, Ronner pulls a political stunt. He and his wife go down and stay at the Veterans Home to prove how safe it is and how well they've addressed the situation. He tells the Crain's editorial board weeks after that, when asked if he would have done anything different, he wouldn't have done anything different. They did an exceptional job. 13 people dead, 11 families suing the state for negligence. Wouldn't have done anything different. They're doing a heck of a job, Brucey. Since that editorial board meeting and his PR stunt, 4 new confirmed cases of Legionnaires at the Veterans Home in Quincy.
Is the 4th case Diane Ronner?
It
or
is
is it
not-
somebody that lives there?
It is somebody that lives there.
Why
And-
don't they just shut that place down? I mean, even take them out and put them in that Super 8 motel or somewhere where the drinking water is safe. This is just
Super 8.
asinine.
These are we owe a debt of honor and gratitude to.
All right, maybe the Sheridan. I don't know. Something.
Well, yeah,
Just
I mean,
get them out of there.
Exactly. Isn't that the obvious thing? What would
Tear
you do?
that place down.
I talked to somebody who runs nursing homes. If you had an outbreak, what would you do with your residents?
What'd they say?
We would move them.
Okay.
Move them immediately. But, put these veterans up at the Four Seasons, at the Peninsula, at the Ritz. I don't care. Put them someplace where they are safe until you figure this problem out. But that would admit that you've been wrong, catastrophically wrong, catastrophically incompetent, deaths, a body count that's piling up over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, really, where you've done nothing except issue press releases and pull PR stunts, because that's what this guy does when he's not betraying every promise that he made on the campaign trail and for much of his first 2 years before he presented himself as a vehicle for the left's radical social agenda, which is all that he is. This is the Mike Tobin report back in December.
Legionella bacteria was detected at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy as early as July of 2015, according to the Centers for Disease Control. That's roughly when Korean War veteran Richard French moved in. He was sick. His wife Dolores moved into independent living there to be near him. Friday, August 28th, their son Steve French heard news of a Legionnaire's disease outbreak and called.
It was a pretty quick response. A kind of a casual response saying, nope, your parents are fine. If something happens, we will give you a call. At that time, she was already dead. We found out later that she had been dead for several days.
Mom's fine. Oh, we found out she was dead when we called.
WBEZ Public Radio showed the state public health director was aware on August 21st the home was facing the, quote, beginning of an epidemic, but there was no public notification until August 27th. 11 families are now suing for negligence. In July of 2016, Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner said, we're really on top of the situation. Last fall, 3 more residents tested positive for the bacteria. A Korean War veteran with a host of medical problems died.
I guess he's, what's the excuse? He's not in charge? It's Madigan's fault? Are all these, the people criticizing Rauner, are they all plants for Madigan? Are they all Madigan operatives too? Since we have so many Republican primary voters that don't take the time to, understand the nature of the lies, don't ask any questions, just believe whatever they're fed from whoever's got the biggest feeder. I mean, the Madigan stuff, you heard on these airwaves, you heard his commercial today. It's laughable. It's laughable. All the conservative legislators, the most conservative reform legislators in the General Assembly supporting Jeannie Ives, they're all Madigan operatives too, are they? Tom Morrison, Margo McDermott, Peter Breen, Dave McSweeney, all the conservative leaders in the House Republican caucus, are they all Madigan operatives? State Senator Tim Bivens out Northwest, is he a Madigan operative too? And are you going to live down to Rauner's expectations for you? To be so ignorant? To be so craven that you're willing to vote for an empty checkbook, that with every check that's written, the lies just pile up? And apparently so do the bodies in places like the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy. I mean, if this party renominates in Illinois, this Republican Party renominates Bruce Rauner, you are telling everyone. And I noticed that no Rauner supporters are calling in, and you're right, you shouldn't. Because what do you have to say, right? If this party renominates Governor Rauner, you are telling the state, we don't hold people accountable. We don't care if people betray us, and it doesn't matter how many times. Don't care. Don't trust us to govern. We can't manage ourselves. We can't hold ourselves accountable to a standard. Our party platform, that's a joke. That's just something we put on a website. That's not something we expect candidates to abide, much less the head of the party. We don't care. We just care about power. And we got a bunch of people that are reliant on this guy with a lot of money to continue to sprinkle the infield with it and get, my idiot cousin a job at the tollway. Same old rap that's been done, at least in my 25 years in Illinois politics, by Republicans and Democrats, which is, again, why do we have the state we have? Gosh, it's really hard to figure out, isn't it? I just can't figure it out. Why are people leaving? Gosh, it's a real head scratcher. God, I can't quite put the pieces together. What's happening? Really? We don't care. That's what the Republican Party is saying. And you're going to, by the way, at the end of the day, which will be the great irony of it all you're going to do is send Rauner out to slaughter from whichever socialist the Democrats nominate, just like you did Mark Kirk, because as a party, we couldn't muster the courage and the wherewithal to support a conservative reform challenger to Mark Kirk. That's why we have primary elections, to hold people accountable, to hold incumbents accountable who do the bidding of the other side.
Well, the phone line's packed.
Yeah. Well,
how are they going to defend him?
This is exactly
If
it.
he's your candidate,
what do you have
man
to say
up,
about
strap on a pair and call in 312-642-5600.
What do you have to say about it?
Why?
Nothing.
I can't vote for him.
The Republican Party is a cowardly party at the leadership level in the state. It's been that way for a long time. And that's why. All that Durkin and Brady care about, these are the legislative leaders in quotations, all these people care about is their sinecure. They don't care about public policy. All their tough Madigan talk dissipates into the ether as soon as the election is over. It doesn't translate into tough anti-Madigan action, does it? Wasn't it 15 surrender House Republicans who passed that 32% Madigan income tax increase? While if you actually talk to the conservative legislators, They'll tell you that Rauner played Pontius Pilate and just sat there knowing it was going to happen because he wanted it both ways. He wanted to pretend that he was opposed to it by by vetoing it, having his veto overridden. That's what he wanted. While actually, so he didn't have to wear the jacket for it, but actually wanted it through. And so Jeannie Ives speaks on the House floor against it, but she's the Madigan tool. Pontius Pilate in the governor's office, not the Madigan tool. Talk to Tom Morrison, talk to any of these legislators who are actually there, who have experience with Rauner, as, by the way, so do I over the last 3 years. But don't just believe me. Ask these conservative legislators whose bona fides are beyond reproach, as is Ives's if she wasn't a candidate for governor. You wouldn't be hearing any of this, of course.
Oh, we have a caller. But I don't know if they're a Rauner supporter.
It's hard to find a Rauner supporter that's willing to stand and deliver, much like their candidate. Joanne in Schaumburg.
Hi, Dan. I wanted to bring another veterans issue to your attention. Years ago, I sat in a meeting with Tammy Duckworth at the Chicago Reed Mental Health Center because she was trying to get a veterans home built on their property. She said she had 2/3 of the funding from the federal government. This is when she was the state director of Veterans Affairs for Illinois. She had 2/3 of the funding from the federal government, and she needed 1/3 from the state. The building has been built. It has stood there without windows for almost 4 years. A brand new building to house 250 veterans, and nobody has done a thing about completing it.
Yeah.
I would love to have somebody go by there and take a picture of it. It's at the corner of Forest Preserve Drive and Oak Park Avenue, right near Harlem and Irving. Maybe Amy could do it someday.
Yeah.
It needs to be brought to attention because it could house 250 veterans, and it's a new building standing there unfinished.
Thanks for the call, Joanne. Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, boy, it's a metaphor for Illinois. And apparently our treatment of veterans. But it's okay. Because what? Still looking for that brave Rauner supporter to give me the substantive case. The guy with electability? Re-elect number under 25%. What's the head-to-heads right now? He's down 18 points to Biss, 15 to Pritzker. That's after $125 million in 3 years as governor. How's it going? Good? 85% of people think we're on the wrong track. 50% want to leave. And some of that 50% leaving every day. Turning around Illinois? 0 for 44 on the turnaround agenda items. Tax cut? No, tax increase. But next term will be the tax cut, even though he's budgeting for the tax increase in the budget address that he unfurled a couple of weeks ago. His budget has the tax increase in it, the anticipated revenue. That, by definition, means you're not looking to repeal it. Another lie, but we'll just swallow it.
The campaign
ad, $1 billion tax cut.
$1 billion tax cut.
Push down. You think your property?
Fake news.
You think your property taxes are high now?
Oh yeah.
His CPS bailout, $17 billion of Chicago public school pensions that will be distributed. That bill is going to be distributed to suburban and downstate families.
Or how are we going to pay for that?
In addition to his proposal to push down unfunded liabilities for teacher pensions to local school districts, that was in his budget address too. You think your property taxes are high now? Just wait.
Mine can't go any higher.
Oh, no. Oh, they can, and they're going to. And they're going to very soon. And you and I have the additional layer of Chicago's kind of 2 to 3 property tax increases every year now. That's what's going to happen. Your home will continue to be liquidated. The pace will quicken. But okay. John in Palatine.
Hey, Dan. I believe Chicago politics might have poisoned Palatine Township's waters as well. Because do you know anything about this? I'm under the impression that when they were taking the nomination for Palatine to support a candidate, that the leader changed the rules and decided to accept all of Schaumburg's absentee ballots. And then all of a sudden, they were going to vote for Rauner. And when Lisa asked how many people were in the room were voting for Jeannie, 85% of the people wanted Jeannie to be nominated.
Yeah, thanks for the call, John. Yeah, I mean, look, at the grassroots level, the local organizations, the people that aren't beholden, Jeannie's winning endorsement after endorsement after endorsement. She won Elgin's last night. It's only when they can rig it because, like at Palatine Township, the committeeman there is is an appointment from the governor. So, of course, they're going to rig it. I mean, you think Republicans are above rigging things the way Democrats do? No, of course not. That's why we become like a cheap imitation of the Democrat Party, and that's why we're the super minority party. Because, as I said, at the leadership level, we don't have leaders. We have a guy, as governor, says he's not in charge. Durkin and Brady, who've been there a combined 40 years, are just looking to leverage their office to make money the same way Madigan does. They're just not as good at it. That's what this is. They don't care about you. They don't care about the party. They don't care about deposing Madigan. They don't care about passing a conservative reform agenda. I mean, has anybody been paying attention? They care about enriching themselves and then moving to Naples like everybody else. Get a clue.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Jury selection halted in Minnesota's lawsuit against 3M Corporation. A California company claims a breakthrough in treating peanut allergies. Those stories next.
You like freedom? I do. You like money? Well, I do too. You like freedom and money, and you're going to love Freedom Checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard that right. $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by March 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.myfreedomchecks.com before the March 1st deadline. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
Jury selection halted in the state of Minnesota's $5 billion lawsuit against 3M Corporation, the lawsuit over disposal of chemicals that allegedly contaminated groundwater. 3M denies any wrongdoing in the case. Economic reports due out today include updates on mortgage applications, existing home sales, and the economic output of the private sector. Despite having 19,000 users in that country, Uber is pulling out of Morocco because of restrictions that it opposes. The first treatment to prevent allergic reactions to peanuts may be on the market soon. A California company will release results of its testing, which could give relief to millions of children allergic to peanuts. Those results to be released at a medical symposium in California next month. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. Period.
No, Mr. Obama, we can't. That was the 2013 PolitiFact lie of the year. In 2017, Blue Cross canceled 97% of their policies. Because your 2017 Blue Cross policy was canceled, you're still eligible to purchase a new plan under special enrollment until March 1st, even though Obamacare open enrollment has ended. And depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. Better yet, the Obamacare mandate will be repealed thanks to President Trump, so you'll no longer be fined by the IRS for purchasing lower-priced, short-term plans. There's no one better to help you navigate the Obamacare maze than C. Stephen Tucker. He's a 20-year licensed broker who I know and trust, who's been educating listeners for more than 6 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan.
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Hear that? That's the sound of a quality solid door from Competitive Door and Supply Company. Doors that serious contractors use for everything from hospitals to schools to warehouses. Not the hollow stuff you find at the big box home improvement stores. Solid core wood doors made out of oak and birch, steel doors, and custom orders ready for installation. Call Competitive Door and Supply Company, 708-366-0194. And for a limited time, get free delivery.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Cheers, then tears at Florida's state capitol. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Students from Parkland who arrived to applause in Tallahassee calling for change after the deadly shooting at their school last week were upset watching the legislature vote to not consider an assault rifle ban. Cheryl Acquarola called the House lawmakers murderers.
Because the next death of someone with an assault rifle here in Florida is going to be on them.
Republican leaders say they will consider other proposals, including maybe temporarily taking guns away from someone considered a threat to others. President Trump will get an earful today from other Parkland, Florida students. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, the president is holding a listening session at the White House. On the guest list, students, teachers, and parents affected by gun violence, including the shootings at Sandy Hook and Columbine. The meeting comes a day after the president called for a ban on bump stocks.
The president supports not having the use of bump stocks, and that we expect further action on that in the coming days.
Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told reporters the president will discuss efforts to ensure gun safety at today's listening session. Dave?
And Rachel, last night, President Trump tweeted we must now focus on strengthening background checks for gun buyers. A police officer gunned down in Mobile, Alabama last night, killed outside a home where a man was barricaded after his ex-wife was found dead. That suspect also ended up dead. Gold medal number 6 for the U.S. at the Olympics in women's cross-country skiing. Then Lindsey Vonn, she won a bronze in the downhill and then said that it will be her last Olympics. But the men's hockey team will not get a medal. Eliminated in the quarterfinals by the Czech Republic 3-2 in a shootout. And then tonight, the U.S. women's hockey team plays Canada for the gold medal. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Skies are cloudy. We have 30 degrees. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago Public Schools watchdog this morning says thousands of elementary school students were improperly enrolled last year. A new report released by Inspector General Nicholas Schuler shows a number of kids admitted because of loopholes or confusion over policies, but many others were admitted over an intentional disregard of the rules. Right now, the audit doesn't name schools or administrators. One person wounded following an argument at a fast food restaurant. Fight broke out in West suburban Batavia at a Steak and Shake. The victim shot in a drive-through lane at that restaurant on McKee Street. The victim hospitalized. Authorities are searching for a shooter this morning. People's Gas agreeing to pay nearly $5 million to end an investigation of waste in its gas main replacement program. AM 560's David Stewart has more.
The Illinois Commerce Commission started investigating after a 2015 audit found the cost of the consumer-funded pipeline program had more than doubled to $8 billion. Under the settlement, the company will pay back a little more than $2 million to consumers, $2.57 each, and put a similar amount into a fund to help shut off customers get reconnected. The company says a new management team has been able to trim costs. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Authorities in Montana say an Illinois man died on a treasure hunt. Investigators at Yellowstone this week finalized a report that says Jeff Murphy of Batavia died while looking for a rumored treasure worth millions of dollars inside the park. Authorities found his body in June of last year, but only just now finished that report. They say Murphy fell about 500 feet down a steep slope. Chicago sports, Michigan State pulls away in the second half to beat the Fighting Illini 81-61 in East Lansing. Ball State toppled our Northern Illinois Huskies 77-68. Bears part ways with linebacker Jarrell Freeman and Pro Bowl left guard Josh Sitton. The news, a service of Ace. Ace is the helpful place with the helpful hardware folks. Your neighborhood Ace has a wide selection of products from the best brands, including Valspar, Craftsman, Scotts, Toro, Weber, Traeger, and Yeti, plus the expertise you need to take on any project with confidence. Only at Ace, the helpful place. It is 7:04, and it is a tough day, especially in the south suburbs with high standing water and floodwaters on the rise there. We'll get details in the traffic center in just a moment. WIND Chicago News Time is 7:04.
Jeannie Ives might be Mike Madigan's favorite Republican. The Madigan machine has bankrolled Ives with thousands of dollars in shady labor union cash, turning Jeannie Ives into another Mike Madigan lackey. Listen to Ives defend Madigan.
Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook. Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook.
Instead of attacking Madigan's corrupt ways like Bruce Rauner, Jeannie Ives defends Madigan.
He's picking on Mike Madigan again. He's picking on Mike Madigan again.
Ives won't even commit to immediate repeal of the Madigan income tax hike.
You need legislator approval to repeal that, obviously, so you'd have to have them decide to do that, to repeal it, right? I can't guarantee what the legislator is going to send me in a bill.
Jeannie Ives, guaranteed to defend and defer to Mike Madigan.
I don't think that's any way to deal with the powerful Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan.
Paid for by Citizens for Rauner, Inc.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
7:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center this morning. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 at Kennedy Avenue. Ramps are closed due to flooding. Kennedy is closed from 8094 to 81st Street. Joliet US 30 is flooded. Briggs, Hillcrest, Bolingbrook. There's a closure of Royce Road, Green, and Paxton. Orland Park, Wolf flooded. 167th Southwest Highway. Burr Ridge 79th remains closed between Hamilton and Drew and Oak Lawn. The ramp from 95th northbound Harlem is flooded out. Edens is 33 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Make it 36 now. Delays starting at Niles Center. Outbound 22 minutes. Kennedy. 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 16 from Montrose. 17 in the Express. Outbound 38 to the airport. The Eisenhower is brutal from Mannheim to Cicero. An hour and 20 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 40 minutes. Stevenson an hour. 355 to the drive. Outbound 36 minutes. Ryan 24 minutes. 95th to the loop. I-57 23 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 44, thanks to flooding at 130th in the right lane. Lakeshore Drive is jammed southbound from Navy Pier to Monroe, where traffic signals are malfunctioning. Northbound from the Stevenson to Monroe. Northbound Tri-State delays, Southwest Highway to LaGrange Road. Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Veterans Memorial. Slow about much of the way to St. Charles. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds give way to some sun, high 34. Clouds increase tonight with a low 27. Tomorrow, a mix of clouds, high 38. Low clouds with occasional late night rain and drizzle tomorrow night, low 34. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
And there are several Northwest Indiana schools that are opening 2 hours late, so check your website and school information for more details. 30 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so gun control measures being advanced and bandied about and debated, some more thoughtfully than others. But before we get to that, we're going to talk to Todd Vandermeide, who is the executive director of FFL Illinois, Federal Firearm License, FFL Illinois, which is an Illinois Gun Dealers Trade Association. But you wanted to make the point about some of the victims of the shooting in Parkland being honored.
Yeah, 3 of the victims, Peter Wang, 15, Martin Dubuque, and Alana Petty, received Medal of Heroism for their extraordinary work and how they saved lives during last week's shooting. All 3 were members of the junior ROTC. Peter Wang even died in his uniform, and they've been posthumously honored and accepted to West Point Academy. And here's Peter Wang's teacher, Deborah Haas, to talk about what he did.
At first, you thought this was just the drill.
I thought it might be the drill, and I went to shut the blinds, and then I turned to say, turn the lights off. And when I turned, I saw my student. I saw him, and he was bleeding.
And he died saving the lives of others, holding the door open so that others could get in. He was shot, and then he still shut the door, and he died. So he was honored at West Point. When his friends say that he always wanted to attend West Point, so I'm glad that they honored him at his funeral with full honor.
Yeah, that is a nice gesture on the part of West Point,
Yep.
and again, it's
the U.S. Military Academy. God bless them.
And it's important, like the coach we've talked about too, to tell these stories of heroism in that crisis situation, and remember heroes who saved lives in that horrific situation. For more on the topic of guns, with the president moving to direct Department of Justice to ban bump stocks, the president also tweeting about enhancing the NICS system, the background check system, discussions of mental health amid all kinds of other discussions. We're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Todd Vandermeide, who's, and again, executive director of FFL Illinois, a Illinois Gun Dealers Trade Association, and also a former NRA lobbyist. Todd, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Nice to be with you guys.
So what was your reaction to the action the president took yesterday?
It remains to be seen how he does it. I think there actually needs to be a change in the law, because you're talking about how you're going to define a machine gun, and that is set by statute. I think that if they simply try to work around that with a rule change and try to shoehorn something into a definition, it causes some pause, because now you're letting a governmental agency arbitrarily simply change a definition, and it could lead to a very, very bad precedent, allowing for a lot of other things to be regulated or banned.
What is your biggest concern? I mean, John Kasich, governor of Ohio, came out yesterday and said, what is the big deal if we take AR-15s away? That doesn't mean we want to strip your Second Amendment rights.
Well, AR-15s are the most popular modern sporting rifle that there is, in the country. There's probably between 10 and 15 million of those. The Heller decision, the Supreme Court handed down, said that firearms in common use. If you can take an AR-15 away, which is functionally identical to hundreds of other types of firearms, where do you stop? And you now have the government in one form or another saying good gun, bad gun. We've drawn lines with machine guns and other things like that. These are not machine guns. These are semi-automatic rifles that fire one shot per pull of the trigger.
All right, what game do you shoot with an AR-15? Just help me, because I don't know.
Deer, coyotes, prairie dogs. They're excellent rifles for hunting. I use one for hunting. They're accurate. They have low recoil. They're highly modular, so you can make them fit. Anything from a teenager to a woman of small stature to 6'6" men. They're great for competition. I use one in competition. So does my 18-year-old son. They're America's rifle.
And I just want you to elaborate on the points you made too. It's like ban AR-15. Okay, well, how many other weapons out there that aren't designated AR-15s have the same functionality as the AR-15?
Hundreds. You have everything from SIG rifles to the AR. You have Remington 7400s, which are a semi-automatic magazine-fed, more traditional hunting-style rifle. There are just hundreds and hundreds of rifles. If you look at the Feinstein ban, she tried to list 600 guns that weren't banned, but then had a list of, hundreds that were. You start getting into this government making lists, good, bad. It seems ironic that the left doesn't like it when there's a list of countries where we should not accept, certain immigrants without, doing a vetting process, but they're completely happy to sit here and make a list of good guns or bad guns. They have no compunction about treating the Second Amendment as if it's some sort of privilege to be meted out on a whim.
So this is using the AR-15 as the boogeyman to get to open this up and start banning everything that, as again was previously the case, they term arbitrarily and capriciously an assault weapon.
Correct. I mean, that term was made up by the anti-gunners to try to confuse the general public that these semi-automatic rifles, look like machine guns. And their actual quote was that if we can make the public believe that they look like a machine gun, they'll think it is. And it's not. None of these firearms are that. Machine guns are highly regulated. They're illegal in the state of Illinois, with the exception of law enforcement and manufacturers. In the other 30 states that allow them, they are regulated by fingerprints, background check, $200 tax stamp per rifle. It's a whole different world to get into that. So they consistently try to say that, these are military-style weapons. They're not. If you take that definition, the Remington 700 bolt-action rifle is a military weapon because that's what the platform is for the U.S. Army sniper rifle.
So
they keep trying to...
Yeah, no, go on. Finish.
No, go ahead, Amy.
Well, what do you think can stop mass shootings at schools? I mean, what is your solution? I mean, if there even is a solution, but what are some of your ideas?
Well, part of it is, in the Florida situation, Florida's different than Illinois. Illinois has a very different set of laws. And under our system here in Illinois, which says that, you have to have a FOID card. So, and if you have a juvenile record, you can't get a FOID card. So I think based on what we're learning about this individual's juvenile record, he would have been disqualified. The police have the ability, if they see clear and present danger, to petition the state police to have the FOID card revoked. I think that based on 39 calls, this individual would have met that criteria. We also have reporting by psychologists, school people, and others. He would have met that criteria. Then you have the FBI. You had a systematic failure from the school district, who refused to report him to local PDs, to the clinical psychologists at the state, to the county, who had 39 calls for service, to the federal government with the FBI. And when you have a systemic failure at every level of government that is supposed to protect us, the answer then becomes we're going to give more background checks to the FBI, or we're going to sit there and start infringing on other people's rights because the government didn't do their job. I don't quite understand that. What we can do is we can sit there and, when they say, if you see something, say something. Well, then those reports have to be taken seriously by the agencies that they're reported to. They can't just be swept under the rug and, somebody missed something. This is not the first time the federal government has missed a report or interaction with a shooter and pushed it off. So I think that when you look at this, you would have to sit there and say, why wasn't it acted upon, and why didn't they use the tools at hand?
Speaking of tools, David French in National Review argues for gun violence restraining orders that make us all safer, he argues, while empowering the individual and protecting liberty. He points out there's a 2014 statute in California that went into effect in 2016. Broadly speaking, they permit a spouse, parent, sibling, or person living with a troubled individual to petition a court for an order enabling law enforcement to temporarily take that individual's gun rights away. And he argues for a narrowly tailored law that would provide such an outlet, but it would empower family members who see something troubling and others close to a potential shooter to do something after they see something and say something, even if authorities won't otherwise, as was the case in this situation. How do you react to that?
Well, we've had those bills proposed here in Illinois, and they don't have any due process in them. The way the bills that are proposed sit there and say that a family member or other who has a connection can sit there and petition the court, take ex parte hearings where the defendant is not allowed to be there, not allowed to have counsel, not allowed to present contravening evidence, and they get to go use hearsay evidence in front of a judge where you're not there to strip you of your rights.
Well, what if but hold on a second. If French argues that a properly constructed piece of legislation in this direction would grant the respondent the opportunity to contest the claims against him. So if that provision was in the law,
I'd have to see how that would work to see if it makes it much better. But it almost sounds like you have to go to court to prove your innocence, Dan. And you being a law student, that's not the way our system works.
Well, I understand, but to some extent, our system actually does work this way. I mean, you have involuntary commitment options, and courts can intervene.
Which then raises what's the standard of proof, what's the burden of proof in order to achieve that, and if the individual is found to be not have this hearsay or not have this, what are they going to use? Facebook posts? Your mother-in-law doesn't like the fact you have guns in the home because of her grandchildren are around and wants to use your Facebook post. Is that considered enough?
Well, for example,
you have to look at the standards of evidence, and you have to look at what.
No, I understand. I appreciate that. But in Florida, you have Baker's Law, which provides law enforcement an option to get basically a 12-hour hold on a person for an emergency psych exam in certain cases. So, something like that that provides people their due process rights. I agree about that concern, but also provides a tool for people to basically take action, as I said, where they see something that the agencies with law enforcement responsibility are failing to do, in addition to obviously trying to upgrade the quality of what law enforcement does at both at the federal and the state level.
I think the devil would be in the details as to how it's administered and how it's enforced, what the standards are.
So you saw that in just the politics of this a little bit, the Dallas mayor pro tem urging the NRA to find a new home for its convention. Just kind of the Kill the NRA billboard that went up in Florida yesterday, and just the nature of the rhetoric you're hearing about the NRA being a terrorist organization, and so then by definition, NRA members are apparently terrorists. People who support the Second Amendment, whether you remember the NRA or you're not, people who are gun enthusiasts have blood on their hands. How do you react to the rhetoric you're hearing?
Well, it seems that the nonviolent left is showing just how violent they want to be, that not only do they not like the Second Amendment to the Constitution, but they think many of us shouldn't have the First Amendment, the right to assemble, the right to free speech. It just seems typical that the people who want to point the finger of fascism at, supporters of the president or others are probably most likely the biggest fascists that are running around. They're the ones that want to treat rights as if they're whimsical privileges to be meted out only on their, approval.
He is Todd Vandemeyen. He's the executive director of FFL Illinois. It's a gun dealers trade association here in Illinois. Todd, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. And if you guys want to go out, I'll take you out and I'll let you play with my ARs and teach you all there is about them.
All right, very good. And there you go. That's an invitation for you, Amy. Thanks, Todd.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, save on just what you need to take care of your home. Get our coupon at acehardware.com and save 25% on a regular priced item under $50. That's right, 25% off on the product of your choice. And only Ace has the brands you love and the advice you trust. So hurry in and get your 25% savings now through Monday only at your neighborhood Ace. Offer valid with coupon at participating stores through February 26th. Limit 1. Exclusions apply. See coupon.
Napa know-how.
Keeping it simple is usually a good thing. And when it comes to rewards programs, keeping it simple is always a good thing. That's why we made the Napa Rewards program effortless. All you need is your phone number to start saving on the parts and tools you need. Then we automatically give you $5 off your next purchase for every 100 you spend. So start saving today with Napa Rewards. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was surprised at myself how much energy I had, and I'm doing 2 jobs, running around like a maniac, and I was able to handle it. Really, I'm like, wow, this stuff is really good. So, more than anything else, it just gave me the extra energy and the well-being, feeling of well-being that I don't think I would have without it.
Well, I take it every day, and I feel great. And my wife looks at me and says, how come you never get sick? And I do. It's because I take the fruits and veggies.
I just feel a lot better. My life is turning around. Everything is working for me.
It just helps me feel good. I just think the products are wonderful, and I take them every day. I just like it. It works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, Mueller, CPA.com.
Year after every new year, you make the same resolutions for yourself, hoping that one of these times they just might stick. You know, the whole new year, new you thing. You're going to lose weight, quit smoking, eat better, find the love of your life. Well, best of luck to you. How about a resolution that can really happen? One for your business's computer and IT network. It's a goal that can be accomplished and realized instantly with the help of Turnkey IT. 2018 is poised for growth. You can't afford to let your business become sidetracked by poor IT assistance or dated computer hardware or software. Remember, in the changing world of IT, what you upgraded a few years ago may not cut it in the new year. One of the biggest parts of your business infrastructure is your IT network, and if that's not right, the impact can cost you a lot of money. Make your resolution today. Be ready to handle the growth expected in 2018 with your business backbone supported by Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Coming up at 7:37, parents lose custody of a girl who wants to be a boy. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Christian evangelist Billy Graham is dead at the age of 99.
There are many things about the cross and about salvation that I do not understand, and I'm not told that I have to understand it all. I'm told that I'm to believe.
The well-known minister, born in Charlotte, North Carolina in November of 1918. He grew up with 3 siblings on a dairy farm in the Depression, became a Southern Baptist minister in 1939 after graduating from Wheaton College and serving at Western Springs Baptist Church. After President John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1960, Graham addressed a crusade audience.
He was very anxious to heal the religious breach in the country, and I think to some extent he succeeded. I couldn't keep the tears back, because in these days of television, a prominent person like that is like a member of our family.
Graham often said he regretted not spending more time with his family, especially his late wife, Ruth Graham.
I traveled all over the world. I took too many engagements I shouldn't have taken, accepted too many invitations to do various things that, as I look back, had very little meaning.
Billy Graham's counsel was sought by presidents. He received many honors from both the secular and religious arenas. He received numerous honorary degrees and awards from institutions around the world. Christian evangelist Billy Graham, dead at the age of 99. In other news this morning, President Trump will host parents, teachers, and students at the White House today. They'll discuss how to keep schools safe. Victims of last week's school shooting in Florida will be honored by Major League Baseball with logos on all caps of 30 teams. Chicago Public School Watchdog says thousands of elementary school students were improperly enrolled last year. A newly released report by Inspector General Nicholas Schuler shows a number of children were admitted because of loopholes or an intentional disregard of the rules. Chicago police are looking for a man accused of breaking into a home and sexually assaulting a woman on the Southwest Side. An investigation continues after a man was found dead behind an industrial building in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood. There's another case of Legionnaire's disease at the state veterans home in Quincy. The Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs yesterday saying it is the 4th case in a little more than a week. And the widow of fallen Chicago Police Commander Paul Bowers thanking the people of Chicago and the suburbs for their outpouring of love and support. In a letter released yesterday, Erin Bauer says she saw every person who attended her husband's wake and funeral last weekend. Chicago sports, number 1 Michigan State pulled away in college hoops in the second half, and they beat the Fighting Illini 81-61 in East Lansing. Meantime, on the college hardwood, Ball State toppled Northern Illinois, our Huskies, 77-68. Tonight, DePaul is at number 3 Villanova. The news is a service of Create TV. Have you always dreamed of being a chef on public media? Only 1 week left to enter the Create Cooking Challenge 2018. Go to createtv.com/challenge for information and to enter. Entries close March 6th. So what are you waiting for? 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois. The following is a paid political announcement.
Here illegally, Manuel Orrego Zavala was deported twice and had multiple convictions and arrests. Drunk, he hit and killed Jeffrey Monroe and Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson. It was a senseless tragedy, and it never should have happened. Politicians in Washington have ignored this issue for far too long. We must build the wall, ban sanctuary cities, and put an end to chain migration. There are lives at stake.
Businessman and conservative outsider Mike Braun is the right choice for voters concerned about illegal immigration. Braun understands that we can't have a country without borders, and in the United States Senate, he'll help President Trump pass his agenda. Too often, dangerous criminals here illegally cause tragic deaths. President Trump can change things, and we can help by electing conservative businessman Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
7:36. Several schools, Maryville, Crown Point, Ford Heights, looking elsewhere, Michigan City, and in Hammond, Lowell, schools there are delayed opening for about 2 hours, mostly because of floodwaters that are pouring through the area. And that water is causing problems on the roads as well in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. That's right. And in Hammond, a long stretch of Calumet Avenue is closed in the northern part of Hammond due to the high water. Kennedy Avenue is closed at 8094, so are the ramps from 8094 to Kennedy. There's some closures farther south, Maryville and Dyer as well. Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. Kennedy, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 44. The Eisenhower, an hour and 23 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 46 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, 45 minutes, 8094 to the Murray. There's flooding at 130th on the right lane. Northbound Tri-State delays, Southwest Highway to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Veterans Memorial bottled up out most of the way to St. Charles. Traffic, service of Ace. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folds. Your neighborhood Ace has a wide selection of products from the best brands, including Valspar, Craftsman, Scotts, Toro, Weber, Traeger, and Yeti, plus the expertise you need to take on any project with confidence. Only at Ace, the helpful place. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Colder day ahead, clouds yielding to some sunshine and a high of 34. Currently 30. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. As you heard, we mourn the passing of the great Billy Graham.
Died at 99 years old.
99 years old, Billy Graham Center, Wheaton College. Yeah, from my hometown.
Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
I never did meet Billy Graham. Obviously, his son Franklin carries on his legacy and his work. Billy Graham, among his many insights into the human condition and, frankly, leadership in the direction of Christianity to better understand the human condition and our relationship to the Almighty. Thank you, Billy Graham. He once said, when wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. When character is lost, everything is lost. In the wake of Parkland and where we are culturally, generally speaking, do you think that's where we are? Do you think that's where we are as a people? We believe that character is the most important thing. You lose character and everything is lost. Do you see it reflected in our political leadership? Do you see it reflected in the leadership of our cultural and civic institutions? When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. When character is lost, everything is lost.
Does character matter anymore? I mean, President Trump, we have another woman coming forward, the Playmate of the Year. Nobody cares. We didn't even talk about it. Well, we briefly did. But being a faithful husband, does that matter? That's part of character.
No question.
Especially right after your wife gives birth and you're with a porn star?
Allegations. There are allegations, we should say.
Okay.
Could they be true? Sure, they could be
his
true.
His attorney friend paid her off, but okay, yeah, you're right. I mean, no, he hasn't come forward and said it.
You want to keep going on that topic? Do parents?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Character. Does character matter?
Right, but I mean, parents and the respect they do or do not demand from their kids.
Yeah, that's where you try to raise good. I'm trying to raise solid young men who are good citizens. That's what I'm trying to raise.
What about knowing, or I should say, advocating for what we know to be true? Or is our character so malleable that we're just going to go wherever the outrage mob tells us to go? Whether that's on guns or marriage or junk science on gender. We're just going to go where the outrage mob tells us to go. Is that the way you want to live your life? On your knees? This case out of Ohio comes to us from Ryan T. Anderson. It's got a new book on the topic. Parents in Ohio lost custody of their 17-year-old daughter Friday because a judge ruled that she should be allowed to receive therapy, including testosterone therapy, to identify as a boy. Without commenting on the specifics of the case just outside Cincinnati, writes Anderson, we can expect more cases like this as government officials side with transgender activists to promote a radical view of the human person and endorse entirely experimental medical procedures. At stake are not only parental rights, but the well-being of children who suffer from gender dysphoria. What about that? Your son, Amy, decides that he is a girl, and he wants to get hormone therapy and to transition, and you say no because he's a minor and you're his parent. Then
the government comes in and takes my son.
Yeah, it takes your son.
You know, I love the headline. The headline you read is different than the one I have here. This one says, religious parents lose custody of transgender teen for refusing hormone treatment.
Right, because
God forbid if they had the Mike Pence believing in God angle of their life.
It's not the adolescent adolescent girl who wants to be a boy. There's no mental illness there. There's mental illness if you're a Christian. But Billy Graham, I guess, was one of the most mentally ill people of all time. Is that right?
Oh, I'm sure the left will come out and say he died from a mental illness.
Is that what you want to argue, Joy Behar and others? I mean, I love this because we're supposed to. I don't care. This doesn't impact me. The trans student that takes over the school and everybody has to reorder their lives around this person. Despite the
women get kicked off the gymnastics team because he becomes a she and wants to be on that gymnastics team.
Or,
is that fair? Heck no.
I don't. Why are there? I mean, watching the Olympics, why are there male and female events? It should be one gender. I've said this. Why are there best male actor, best female actor? Let's eliminate gender. That's what is happening here. People know it's wrong. People don't support it. How many people address it? Well, you won't address it until it's visited upon your home, I guess.
That judge in Hamilton County gave custody of the teenager to her grandparents who understand that he wants to change genders.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. If a minor wants to change their gender and the parents disagree, should the minor have their will honored and, as needed, have a court intervene to remove the child from their parents? This was happening.
Oh, the parents objected to the transition process because of their religious beliefs, the judge said, and because they refused to call their daughter by the name that they gave her.
No, so
they refused.
You don't need religious.
She wants a different name, and they said, no, we're calling you the name that we gave you.
Right.
Because that's how you were born.
You don't need to be religious to understand XX and XY. You don't need to be religious. That's science. You don't need to be religious to understand that boys and girls are different. You don't need to be religious to understand that the parents are in a better position to make decisions about minors than the minor themselves. Otherwise, what's the need for the parent? If we're just going to cater to the whim of every teenager and every dopey thing some teenager wants to do. In addition to, by the way, the psychiatric profession, leaders in the psychiatric profession, there's no such thing as transgender. This is somebody with a mental illness that shouldn't be ridiculed, but also shouldn't be catered to.
But
you shouldn't.
The cool thing.
You shouldn't
it's not
advance.
enough to be gay now. Now you gotta switch genders. If you're a guy, you have to wear makeup. It's just strange.
Well,
is this our new reality?
Well, it's not just abiding an adult's choice. This is saying it's okay for courts to take your kids away from you in this circumstance. Is that a precedent you want to set? Does this issue matter to you now? Or you call a little culturally anxious about what's going on? You got to say something about it? Or again, you're just going to be rolled over by the outrage mobs? You know, the ones that are in charge of all our cultural institutions who call someone like me a bully. I'm not in charge of anything. But the people that have the TV stations and the newspapers and in charge of government, at least in this godforsaken city, county, state, the ones in charge of everything who issue the diktats that govern our lives, they're not the bullies. But if you disagree with them, in fact, you are the bully. Isn't that interesting? And how many people are willing to stand up to a bully? Speaking of providing an example for your kids, how many people are willing to stand up to political and cultural bullies? Because that's what the cultural elite in charge of most media outlets, most civic organizations, most charitable organizations, most of government, frankly, even with Republican majorities in so many states, because Republicans won't stand up to them. They'll fall in with the outrage mob. We've seen it happen, obviously, with this pathetic sham of a Republican Party in Illinois. What are you going to do? Vince in Belvedere, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, I agree with everything you say, obviously. But almost, I hate to say it's almost moot talking about it, because until the laws are changed, the courts have to follow the laws. And what we can do about it, you're right. I agree about our Republican party in Illinois being a total 100% sham. But us as voters, we have to take the strength and the initiative to make sure that we vote for people that are willing to confront these existing laws. Your opinion?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Vince. I mean, look. But there's the laws. There's no law. There's no law in Ohio. This is a judge making the law, making a judgment call on, on the parenting of this 17-year-old kid in Ohio. There's no law
and
that
helping them out was the department, their version of the family, child and family services, and the Cincinnati Children's Hospital.
Of course,
was on the judge's side to take the kid away from the parents.
All politicized. As I said, the cultural and civic institutions. How about the hospital?
Yeah, doctors said that they know. Like, no, this need to change genders.
Yeah, right.
And they're giving him a year of counseling before he can fully transition.
So this is the Plato's Republic. Your kid's not your kid. This is the It Takes a Village crowd. And by the way, the village gets a vote. Philip on the Northwest side.
Good morning, guys. This is the second step in our totalitarian state. This is absolute communism. The communists always go to the judges. The first step was divorcing and empowering single mothers. As long as the mothers are married to the government, then the government can tell them what to do, tell them what's responsible, what's not responsible, make sure they're desperate or they're not desperate. And now we have minors making all kinds of stupid decisions. I'm sorry, but I'd have to kidnap my kids and go somewhere. If there's a warrant for my arrest, too bad, because this is so disgusting. These kids, what happens when these kids totally are upset with the decisions they've made 2 to 5 years later, and they're suicidal over it?
Or they want to go back, which has happened too, and we've reported in those cases.
Sure, yeah. And as long as there's a militant government health care plan in place, well, the health care plan's just like the communist medical back during World War II. You know, nobody wanted to go see the mad doctor because they knew how nutty doctors were. They said something, it was law, that was it. And all these mass shootings, every one of them were on head meds and street drugs. Every one of them.
Thanks, Philip. Jeff in Antioch.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Okay, so I have a adopted 16-year-old granddaughter, and she tells me one day, I'm 16 years old, and you can't keep me from having a birth control, and I want your insurance card. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I come to find out that there's no parental consent required for that. And
at school,
she, pardon me?
At school, no parental consent required. Where?
Yeah, at the school or even a medical clinic.
Sure.
They can go right into the office there, and an insurance card without parental consent, they can have access to birth control.
Yeah.
The parents, no say.
Yep. Thanks.
I just said, okay, you're on your own. I'm not going to have any. I'm not involved in this at all. It's not on me. And I said, I'm not going to co-opt this. So.
Thanks for the call, Jeff. Appreciate it. I mean, here's the bottom line, and so the passing of Billy Graham is a reminder of this too. Do you understand? Do people understand? The only true bulwarks against the state, against state power, the church, whatever your church, the church and the family. That's it. If you let the state in there, it is over. The days of a free society are over.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you still haven't purchased the very best pillow, of course I'm talking about MyPillow, the 4-pack deal is back. So I strongly urge you to go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal. A great night's sleep is so important, so give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep by ordering a MyPillow. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. The MyPillow 4-pack deal includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need, regardless if I sleep on my back or side. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. And MyPillow is made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack in February by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. North Korea heads for diplomacy gold medal at Olympics, was the Reuters headline. Kim Jong-un's sister is stealing the show at the Olympics, CNN reported breathlessly. This is the same D.C. press corps that comes apart at the seams in response to the slightest of provocative tweets or bellicose rhetoric from Trump. Could the press be even more attention-starved than the president? Or is the glowing review of North Korea's chief propagandist just professional courtesy from our chief propagandists? The only other option is that our big government press corps is genuine in their appreciation. It wouldn't be the D.C. press corps' first dalliance with the dictator. The New York Times didn't believe Hitler was sincere in his anti-Semitism. They spent the run-up to the Third Reich profiling Hitler as a Bavarian gentleman who enjoyed strolls with his 3 sheepdogs along majestic mountain trails. The New Republic was similarly enthralled with the Bolshevik Revolution that brought Stalin to power, remarking upon Stalin's energy and positiveness. When both Trump and the D.C. press corps were recently given the opportunity to honor someone on the international stage, Trump chose Otto Warmbier, the D.C. press corps chose the regime that murdered him. Instructive.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.49% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/news. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good to excellent credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/news. That's lightstream.com/news. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rates include 0.5% autopay discount available only when you select autopay prior to loan funding. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for important information about limits on Lightstream loans.
So you've heard me talk about Calitrin. It's a wonderful natural supplement that helps with weight loss, joint pain, and it helps you sleep at night. I know I take mine in the liquid form before I go to bed, and I sleep soundly. There's no side effects but side benefits. And here to tell us about that is our good friend Elizabeth.
Yes, ma'am. You know, it really is so much more than just a weight loss supplement because it has amazing side benefits. Better sleep, more energy, less joint pain. Those are all things that customers say when they're taking Calitrin. And I think everybody's used to those other diet products, the stimulant products. You might lose the weight really quickly, but of course you gain it all back as soon as you get off of it. But with Calitrin, it's not like that at all. You're going to see inches and pounds come off within that first 4 to 6 weeks, and you're going to keep them off because you're doing it the right way. You can go to our website, toploss.com, check it out for yourself. And if you have questions, you can chat with us online, or you can give us a call. Our number is 1-800-325-4366. And don't forget, you can use promo code Amy to save 10% on your order today, too.
Go to toploss.com. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Amy.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Governor Bruce Rauner spent 4 years betraying Republicans. Now that he wants to be re-elected, he needs help from his friends in Springfield and Chicago. like Personal PAC, a group that spent $4 million helping Mike Madigan defeat conservatives. Personal PAC is a pro-abortion group with a history of also funding Planned Parenthood, and Personal PAC recently attacked Jeannie Ives. They're attacking Jeannie Ives because Ives fought against HB 40, which forces taxpayers to pay for abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. Jeannie Ives wasn't alone in her opposition of this horrible law. She was joined by every single Republican legislator in Springfield, but Governor Rauner lied to Illinois Republicans and Cardinal Cupich, then betrayed everyone when he signed the bill anyway. And now that you know Benedict Rauner is a traitor to Republicans, you can vote for the real Republican in the race for governor. Vote for Jeannie Ives for governor. She's the conservative reformer Illinois needs. Log on to ivesforillinois.com to learn more. Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to 41st Ward Alderman. Walderman.
Oh, I love the
mashup I did that. Walderman. 41st Ward Alderman Anthony Napolitano about this new Chicago ID card for illegal immigrants in Chicago that would be a valid form of identification both for registering to vote and voting.
And later, Commander Bauer...
What could go wrong with that?
Commander Bauer's widow releases an emotional letter thanking the city of Chicago. But now let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Christian evangelist Billy Graham is dead at the age of 99. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. Reverend Billy Graham has died. I'm Dave Anthony.
One thing I want you to remember. God loves you.
He preached to more people than anyone in world history.
Follow Jesus. Let him lead you home.
An evangelist who touched tens of millions, called by some the Protestant Pope.
There are problems of sin and habit that cannot be solved outside the person of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Graham became a confidant of presidents, helping them with their problems. He spoke at 7 inaugurations. Graham lived his life with a sense of humility and integrity that endeared him to millions worldwide. Brett Baer, Fox News.
The Reverend Graham was 99 years old and died of natural causes at his home in North Carolina a little more than an hour ago. In Tallahassee, Florida, a short time ago, students from Parkland chanting as they walked to the state capitol a week after the shooting at their high school that left 17 students and adults dead. They're demanding stricter gun laws, but were upset last night when lawmakers voted against considering an assault rifle ban. Later today, President Trump will hear from other students and teachers from Parkland, Florida, and those affected by the Columbine and Sandy Hook school shootings, getting their input on guns and school safety. The president's calling for stricter background checks and another restriction. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump has ordered the Justice Department to take action at banning so-called bump stocks.
To propose regulations to ban all devices that turn legal weapons into machine guns.
A bump stock was used in a shooting last fall that left dozens dead at an outdoor concert in Las Vegas. Separately, when asked whether the president would support steps to raise the federal minimum age for buying military-style weapons, White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders did not rule it out. Dave?
This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
30 degrees, cloudy skies, winds from the northwest at 12 miles an hour. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott on AM 560, The Answer. This morning in Ford Heights, the city is swamped. Floodwaters everywhere, closing down schools. It's hard to drive through on the streets. Jim Telemonte has more on both the floodwaters there in Ford Heights and in northwest Indiana that are delaying schools in just a moment. Chicago Public Schools watchdog says thousands of elementary school students were improperly enrolled last year. It's a brand new report released by the Inspector General Nicholas Schuler, who says a number of children were admitted because of loopholes, but others were admitted over an intentional disregard of the rules. 3 women claim they were sexually harassed while working at Ford Motor Company's 2 Chicago plants. Speaking yesterday at the City Council Finance Committee meeting, the women accused coworkers of groping and propositioning them. They also claimed there was retaliation against anyone who complained. All 3 are currently suing Ford. An investigation is underway after a man was found dead behind an industrial building in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood, that identity not released. There is another case of Legionnaire's disease at the State Veterans Home in Quincy. The Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs saying yesterday the latest case is the 4th in a little more than a week. Meantime, a handful of Illinois lawmakers are fuming after managers at the Veterans Home apparently blew off a State House hearing. It's not clear when they will be summoned back to the State House in Springfield. Chicago sports, number 1 Michigan State pulled away in the second half to beat the Fighting Illini 81-61 in East Lansing. Ball State toppled our Northern Illinois Huskies 77-68, and the Bears are parting ways with linebacker Jarrell Freeman. The news service of Audible, stay motivated, informed, and entertained through the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with Audible and the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial, and your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, 3M, accused of polluting in Minnesota from 1950 until the early 2000s, is paying $850 million to the state to settle a lawsuit. Attorney General Lori Swanson sued 3M, claiming it dumped waste from making Scotchgard into the ground and water. Intel is expanding in Israel. Israeli officials say the chipmaker plans to invest $5 billion to boost production there over the next 3 years. Amazon is a stock to follow today. Analysts at MKM Partners are predicting Amazon stock will rise to $1,750. Amazon closed over $1,468 yesterday. And shoe chain Foot Locker will be spending more on its online sales this year. The changes will include improving its mobile app and website. The Dow dropped 254 yesterday. NASDAQ was down 5. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by AM Woodland Outdoor Design.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, save on just what you need to take care of your home. Get our coupon at acehardware.com and save 25% on a regular priced item under $50. That's right, 25% off on the product of your choice. And only Ace has the brands you love and the advice you trust. So hurry in and get your 25% savings now through Monday only at your neighborhood Ace. Offer valid with coupon at participating stores through February 26th. Limit 1. Exclusions apply. See coupon.
Napa know-how. Keeping it simple is usually a good thing. And when it comes to rewards programs, keeping it simple is always a good thing. That's why we made the Napa Rewards program effortless. All you need is your phone number to start saving on the parts and tools you need. Then we automatically give you $5 off your next purchase for every $100 you spend. So start saving today with Napa Rewards. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
8:07, and let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. As you mentioned, there's heavy flooding in northwest Indiana, including the ramps from 8094 to Kennedy Avenue are closed due to the flooding on Kennedy, which is closed from 8094 to 81st. Also closures in Merrillville and in Dyer, and also a long stretch of Calumet Avenue in the northern part of Hammond.
South suburban Ford Heights is a lot of flooding. Anyone near Deer Creek there is going to have some water issues. Now, 30 is open through Ford Heights, but north of there especially, there's some major flooding in some of the subdivisions there. Eden's Expressway is 29 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 26. Kennedy, inbound delays starting Canfield, an hour and 9 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 41 minutes from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound 41 minutes to the airport. The Ike, an hour and 20 minutes, 390 to downtown. An hour 5 from Manheim, outbound 49 minutes, 390. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the Verge. Bishop Ford, 45. There's flooding at 130th in the right lane. Ramps from 130th to outbound. Bishop Ford, they're closed. Southbound Lakeshore Drive's a mess. Foster to Monroe, where traffic signals are flashing red. Northbound from the Stevenson to Monroe. Delays on the northbound Tri-State Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Better some more. Mountain Toll to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Increasing amounts of sun throughout the day today with a high 34. Then clouds will increase tonight with a low 27. Tomorrow, mix of clouds, high 38. Rain and drizzle late at night on occasion with a low 34. And a little rain early in the morning Friday, otherwise cloudy, high 45. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
29 officially at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, the widow of Commander Paul Bauer, issued this letter of thanks to the city.
Yeah, it's really touching. I can't read all of it just, for time constraints, but basically it starts with, I sit here writing a letter that I never thought I'd have to write. On February 13th, my husband and Grace's dad, Paul Bauer, was violently taken from us. Needless to say, our hearts are broken in a million pieces and our lives are forever changed, but that's not the reason I am writing. I'm writing to thank the people of this great city of Chicago for the outpouring of love and support at this horrendous time in our lives. Paul would have been terribly upset that he inconvenienced so many of you with parking restrictions in our beloved Bridgeport. He would have winced at the thought that the Dan Ryan closed down for the funeral procession. He never wanted to be in the spotlight. He never thought of himself, only others. I want to thank those of you who waited for hours in the cold to attend his wake and funeral. You have no idea how much that meant to us. If I wasn't out of tears, I would have cried the entire route to the cemetery. I want you to know that I saw each and every one of you who stopped on the side of the road to salute as the hearse went by. I saw the blue blanket draped over the fence along the expressway and the large banners with Paul's pictures. I saw people of every color taking time out of their day not only to pay respects to Paul, but to the entire Chicago Police Department. They are the men and women who selflessly put their lives on the line each day to protect people they don't even know. They are my new family. And then in closing, she writes, one man almost stole my faith in humanity, but the city of Chicago and the rest of the nation restored it, and I want to thank you for that. Sincerely, Aaron Bauer.
Very thoughtful, well-written letter. Very nice. She's right about it being such a unifying event for the city, which is nice because those sorts of things rarely happen in this city. I mean, the last instance like that I can remember that was similar was Cardinal George's funeral. So anyway, I want to get to some issues, but since our next guest also, prior to being a Chicago alderman, Chicago firefighter, Chicago police officer, if I'm remembering correctly, he is Anthony Napolitano, who is the alderman for the 41st Ward of Chicago. Anthony, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
And just want to get, as a first responder yourself and your previous career, just want to give you an opportunity to reflect on Commander Bauer and what his wife had to say, as you just heard Amy read.
You know, it's absolutely incredible. You know, I'd like to say God, rest in peace to Commander Bauer. My brother worked for him. He had the great opportunity to work for him. Great man. You will never hear a bad word about the commander. And I think she's right. I think that when the city feels like you lose hope, especially with the crime issues, that there is faith and we can find humanity in our police department. They're not all bad apples. There's a lot of incredible apples in that department, and they're willing to jump in when everyone's jumping out. So I can't say. I can't say how proud I am of him as a man and as a police officer, because he wore that uniform with pride and he showed it.
Well, moving on to this issue that is generating less pridefulness in the city, municipal ID cards that Tiny Dancer is launching for undocumented immigrants and others will be a valid form of identification for people both registering to vote and voting in Chicago, according to a letter he sent out to you and your colleagues on the city council last week. Now, I try to keep up on these things, but is voting in Chicago, is it still that you have to be a U.S. citizen and a registered voter to vote there, or is that no longer the case? Can people bring in proxy votes from Central America?
No, you still have to be registered. You still have to be a citizen. And one thing that really irks me as well is you don't even, as of right now, as you know, you don't even have to show an ID. It's just done by signature, which is another issue that I think should be covered besides how I believe this municipal ID is not a good idea. I think that going into a voting booth and you're just saying, yeah, I'm Tim Smith. Okay, sign right here and go vote. I think that's another guard we're putting down, and we're taking our rights away from our citizens.
Well, yeah, and how is this a valid ID for registering to vote when it is by definition an ID for people who are ineligible to register to vote, at least in part?
That's what drives me crazy. And I always got to put this out here. I'm not anti-immigrant. I'm a first-generation son of an immigrant. So the anti-immigrant stuff is nonsense. Here, look at this concept alone. You're giving an ID for people and you're basically stating that you can take this to go in and vote. But guess what? After you register and get this ID, we're going to throw out all the information on you so that no one can follow up with you. No one can find out, if you aren't a resident, if you are illegal here illegally, no one can follow up with you because we're getting rid of that information, which shows that this should not be done anyways. We're giving a documented ID to people that are not documented. And it's in the statement, it's saying, hey, guess what? The onus is on the Board of Elections to ask you and hope that you attest to being a resident or a citizen.
So what do you need to bring forward to get this ID? Is it a bank account statement, a water bill, a gas bill, or what? Birth certificate?
Amy, that's the greatest part. If you look at the setup of it, it's based on a 3-point system.
Yeah.
And you have to get up to 3 points to go in to have the valid forms to get this ID. I think one of them is to have a name. It's so ridiculous, the setup to get the 3 points. They have it all written down. I don't know it off verbatim. I can send that to you guys as well. But when you look at it, you're going to get the 3 points just for for having a power bill, for a bill to your house, and that's understandable. But for your kids being in school, you can have one. But anybody can get that these days.
I mean, my head. You and a couple of your colleagues have pointed out the obvious. Nick Sposato, who is a 38th Ward Alderman. I'm not sure of the validity of this. They may not have citizenship. Voter fraud would be my biggest concern. Oh, do you think? Gilbert Villegas, though, the Latino caucus chairman on the city council, said this: it's not changing the state law, and there's nothing stopping someone from getting a fake ID now and going to try to vote. Well, that's a really interesting argument that Villegas makes. So nothing stops someone from trying to commit voter fraud right now. So let's institutionalize voter fraud to make it easier.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Gil. We get along great. On that topic, I think the weak comeback for a lot of other people is, well, we're hoping this is not going to be an issue. Well, we're giving the opportunity for it to be an issue. And I can't, I don't sleep well at night thinking about that. That's not right. We're supposed to be defending citizens' rights, and we're saying, hey, we don't think this is going to be an issue, but if it is, we'll deal with it when it happens, and that's wrong. And here's the best thing: how convenient that this is happening right before an election cycle.
Well,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
so, is there
that's-
any way to stop? Is there any way to stop this?
Insane.
I don't. You know what? I don't. Here's what I get. Another thing that doesn't let me sleep well at night is when we sat in these meetings talking about this ID. And a couple other colleagues say, well, is this going to be used for voting? And it was laughed upon. It was like, no, this is going to give people that don't have IDs the ability to cash their checks or to get a library card. It was actually laughed at that, oh, you're crazy, they're going to be able to use this for voting. And then in their ordinance, it states, hey, you can use this to vote. I mean, is it going to be stopped? I don't know. It matters on how many people we can get together to say you're writing what you can do with this, and that's vote.
Well, this is unconstitutional. I mean, it has to be litigated. Do they understand? You have the possibility, the distinct possibility, I would say, of disenfranchising citizens from their vote. If somebody votes illegally, that is taking away the vote of a police officer, a firefighter, a first responder, an alderman, for that matter. This is lunacy. This is the absence of the rule of law.
This is the absolute fear that a handful of us had going into these meetings, that this was going to happen. And just a short couple of months later, it's exactly what the ID is being used for. And it's so unconstitutional. And it's so we're taking away American rights of voting, the rights to be a citizen, that you have the right to vote in elections. We're taking that away. And I don't think anybody's really batting an eye at it. It scares me. And that's not right.
And do you think it has something to do with, you mentioned, not coincidentally, this is in cycle, and you have a certain mayor who is basically a persona non grata in the black community. He's going to need the Latino community to get reelected. And does that perhaps have anything to do with it?
I think it. I mean, it's when you look at when this is coming out, it's right before an election cycle, and it's stating in the ordinance, hey, you can vote by this. I mean, it's telling people you can go vote, and then on top of it, in the ordinance, it's written, we will destroy all your information after you come and get your ID, which means nobody can follow up with you after you got your ID. So, what are we doing? We're working in reverse.
I'm reading this point system that you turned me on to. I mean, it's unbelievable. You can have a driver's license from a foreign country that's worth 2 points. It's crazy. Even if you have an expired foreign passport, you can bring that into. That's worth 2 points.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. Was it you just had to get to 3 points, correct?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I can bring in an expired passport from 10 years ago, and that's 2 points, and I just have to show something else.
I'll tell you one thing. Sitting at election booths in the last couple of elections, one of the things I noticed people are very, very angry about, and they actually disclaim it in these voting booths, is why don't you want to see my ID?
I'd say that every
makes
time.
People angry. Yeah,
Alderman, I say that every time. I'm like, well, don't you want to see it? And she's like, well, we know who you are. I go, no, but do you really know who I am? I mean, here's my ID.
Yeah, and it's based off a signature. And you know how many people that we had since I've been in this position now, the calls that we get to the office that, hey, I went in the booth to vote, that I was told I already voted. I mean, that's all you have to do is look at the voting sheets and say, hey, this guy votes this way for the last for his life, but he hasn't voted in the last 5 years. Somebody can look at those sheets and go in and, hey, he ain't going to be there. I'm going to go in and vote on his behalf.
I have a friend who has 2 homes. Yeah, I have a friend who has 2 homes, and she votes twice. Every election votes twice. And they never question her. It's ridiculous. And I told him, like, you're going to get arrested for voter fraud. I hope you do.
Well, but voter fraud is just a fictional thing, according to so many on the left that we talk to and talk about. That doesn't exist. Well, Chicago's trying to remedy that if it doesn't exist, to make sure that it exists. Unbelievable. 41st Ward Alderman Anthony Napolitano. Anthony, thanks so much for joining us and talking about this issue. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
No, I'm not saying that on the air, but there's a new fashion trend. It's called the JJ wigs. It's debuting in Fashion Week right now in South Korea. I'm not kidding you. Do you see that? Here's some more.
Very tasteful.
Yeah. They're selling them, too. Are you kidding me? Coming up on Chicago's on a very special Dan and Amy. Forecast for today. Cloudy out there, much cooler than yesterday, a high of 34 degrees. Tonight, clouds and a low of 27. And for Thursday, Friday Eve, variable cloudiness, a little bit warmer, a high of 39. Friday and Saturday, we are going to get back up into the mid to upper 40s. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Jim Telemonte, what are you wearing today?
I got jeans and a flannel shirt, Amy. It's cold. Good morning. We've got good flood-related closure. You might want to have some boots on, especially if you're in the southwest suburbs or northwest Indiana. Burr Ridge, 79th Street, still closed due to high water. Hamilton and Drew. Bolingbrook, Royce Road flooded. Green and Paxson, there are closures in Orland Park as well. Also in Munster near the Little Calumet River. And in Hammond, Calumet Avenue, with the northern part of Hammond. And also we have closures in Fort Heights due to the flooding, mainly near Deer Creek. Eden's 23 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, App on 26. Kennedy, an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, quicker than the Express. Guys and hours, an hour and 18 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford heavy from the Tri-State to 130th with high water in the right lane. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is a mess. Foster to Monroe, traffic signal issues. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Please stop talking about lady gardens or secret gardens or whatever it is you're talking about regarding that new...
Fashion trend?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Take a little look-see online. It's a true story. This is not fake news.
Gentlemen, when it comes to good health and quality of life, there are numbers every man needs to know, including our testosterone number. I personally recommend my friends at Low T Center. That's where I got my levels tested recently. They make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause lack of motivation and drive, can even raise your cholesterol levels, cause weight gain, and loss of muscle mass. If you've been experiencing any of these symptoms, it's time to get your levels checked. At Low T Center, they accept most health insurance and will verify it for you. Low T Center's physicians specialize in treating low testosterone levels in men. They know men's health and are reinventing men's health care. When it comes to your health and daily quality of life, do what I did. Get your numbers checked. You owe it to yourself to call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. 312-239-3427 is the number. Call 312-239-3427 or go to lowtcenter.com for more info.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, save on just what you need to take care of your home. Get our coupon at acehardware.com and save 25% on a regular priced item under $50. That's right, 25% off on the product of your choice. And only Ace has the brands you love and the advice you trust. So hurry in and get your 25% savings now through Monday only at your neighborhood Ace. Offer valid with coupon at participating stores through February 26th. Limit 1. Exclusions apply. See coupon.
Napa know-how.
Keeping it simple is usually a good thing. And when it comes to rewards programs, keeping it simple is always a good thing. That's why we made the Napa Rewards program effortless. All you need is your phone number to start saving on the parts and tools you need. Then we automatically give you $5 off your next purchase for every 100 you spend. So start saving today with Napa Rewards. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Jeannie Ives might be Mike Madigan's favorite Republican. The Madigan machine has bankrolled Ives with thousands of dollars in shady labor union cash, turning Jeannie Ives into another Mike Madigan lackey. Listen to Ives defend Madigan.
Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook. Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook.
Instead of attacking Madigan's corrupt ways like Bruce Rauner, Jeannie Ives defends Madigan.
He's picking on Mike Madigan again. He's picking on Mike Madigan again.
Ives won't even commit to immediate repeal of the Madigan income tax hike.
You need legislator approval to repeal that, obviously, so you'd have to have them decide to do that, to repeal it, right? I can't guarantee what the legislator is going to send me in the bill.
Jeannie Ives, guaranteed to defend and defer to Mike Madigan.
I don't think that's any way to deal with the powerful Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan.
Paid for by Citizens for Rauner, Inc.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, who wants to vote illegally in Chicago? You're welcome to do so under the voter or the new Muni ID promulgated by Tiny Dancer. Talked to 41st Ward Alderman Anthony Napolitano about that. He was one of the few opponents.
Oh my gosh, you can have a school enrollment form for the applicant. You can have a youth work permit. That's worth 2 points. I love that you can have a foreign national identification card, and it can be expired, too.
You know what's going to be fun? It's going to be fun when Chicago has a mayor who is here illegally. Patricia in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi there, guys. Yeah, the more I keep hearing this kind of stuff, it's just one more nail in the coffin and a reason to get out of Illinois even faster.
I'm afraid so. Thanks for the call, Patricia. Verlon on the south side.
Yeah, you know what, Dan? This is what I talked to you about 3 months ago before our president got elected. My daughter called me and said, Daddy, Latinos that's illegal down here in California can vote with an ID. Everybody dismissed me when I said that. But see, now Rahm Emanuel is following suit. See, this is what I'm talking about. Liberals, when I debate them, they say, oh, there's no voter fraud. Yeah, because you're making it legal to voter fraud legal. You know what? Next time I debate a liberal, I'm going to, and they talk to me about the popular vote, I'm going to tell them to go shove it and let them figure out why. They probably never will, but they never will figure out why. But then if we don't reverse course fast and now, I'm agree with Sean. This country's done.
Thanks for the call, Verlon.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to former FBI Assistant Director Ron Hoskow about the Mueller investigation and the FBI's failures when it came to preventing that Parkland school shooting. That's at 8:38.
And former ABC 7 chief meteorologist Jerry Taft has a new job. We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
28 degrees, cloudy skies. Christian evangelist Billy Graham is dead at the age of 99.
There are thousands of people in America that think they're Christian, but in actuality, they are not Christian in the narrow sense of the term. They've never been born again. They've never received Christ into their heart. And if they died, they would not go to heaven.
The well-known minister born in Charlotte, North Carolina, graduated from Wheaton College, served at Western Springs Baptist Church. Presidential historian John Meacham says he was one of the most important evangelists who ever lived.
Arguably preached the gospel of Jesus of Nazareth before more people than anyone else in history. He did it from one corner of the globe to another. He did it tirelessly.
Billy Graham's counsel was sought by presidents, received many honors from the secular and religious worlds, received numerous honorary degrees from institutions around the United States and abroad. Christian evangelist Billy Graham dead at the age of 99. This morning in other news, an Alabama police officer is dead, shot by a murder suspect last night. Officer Justin Bila was approaching 72-year-old Robert Holley's home in the Mobile area when Holley fired several shots at police. Investigators say earlier in the night, Holley killed his ex-wife near her home. Florida high school students are in Tallahassee, Florida today, advocating at the state capitol for gun control. Teens who survived the shooting that claimed 17 lives in Parkland, Florida, will lead a noontime rally. Meanwhile, President Trump will host parents, teachers, and students at the White House later today to discuss how to keep schools safer. A Chicago area woman who was at a cafe in Paris during the 2015 attacks is suing Twitter, Facebook, and Google, alleging the sites helped aid the growth of the Islamic State group, giving it social media access. Mandy Palmucci filed that federal lawsuit last week in Chicago. There's another case of Legionnaire's disease at the State Veterans Home in Quincy. The Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs yesterday saying the case is the fourth in a little more than a week. Chicago sports. Michigan State pulled away in the second half and thrashed the Fighting Illini 81-61 in East Lansing. Ball State topples our Northern Illinois Huskies in the MAC 77-68. The Bears part ways with linebacker Joel Freeman and left guard Josh Sitton. Olympic news, USA men's hockey team, ragtag bunch of guys, did pretty well but lost a heartbreaker, 3-2 shootout decision to the Czech Republic in the quarterfinals. Their counterparts, the USA women, play for hockey gold later tonight against Canada. The news service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained through the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial. Your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. 8:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by 1-800-4-BLINDS, Chicago. Blinds, shades, and shutters.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Cold or flu? Fever is flu's trademark. The Exergen temporal scanner is the #1 thermometer pediatricians recommend. Protect your family with technology backed by over 70 clinical studies. Exergen.com.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:36. Let's get an update on the roads. Jim Talamonte, I was just looking at the brand new rainfall totals that came in for parts of northwest Indiana. This will inform everyone as to why they're having water trouble there. 6.4 inches of rain in DeMotte, 6.5 inches of rain in Wheatfield over the past 60 hours. They're waterlogged and soaked, and it is causing traffic trouble this morning.
That's right, Mike. And north of DeMotte, in Hebron and Lowell, State Road 2 is flooded out between I-65 and 231. That's a major closure. Farther north in Highland, Kennedy Avenue is closed, 81st Street to 8094, and the ramps from 8094 to Kennedy are shut down as well. Closures remain in places like Burr Ridge, Bolingbrook, Joliet, Norland Park. Fort Heights is flooded, especially in an area near Deer Creek. Aiden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. Kennedy, inbound delays start at Nagle, an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Quicker than the Express, outbound 35 minutes. The Ike, an hour and 13 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 40 minutes. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 46. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive is jammed southbound Foster to Monroe with traffic signals flashing red. Northbound 31st to Monroe. Delays on the northbound Tri-State starting at Southwest Highway. Veterans Memorial starting at the Boughton Toll. The other tollways are looking fine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Colder, clouds yielding over to a bit of sun by the afternoon and a high of 34. Clouds will increase overnight, a low 27, 29 officially at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Hey, Joe Walsh here, CNN Town Hall on guns and gun control. Funny, they'll never have a town hall on the breakdown of the family in America. We'll talk about it when freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The FBI is the subject of much scrutiny at present because of what we know about the failure to follow protocols, to be euphemistic about it, with respect to the Parkland, Florida shooter, in addition to everything going on with the Russian collusion investigation. And it just seems to me this effort to ostensibly get President Trump on some kind of obstruction of justice charges, that the more indictments that Mueller unveils, the further it gets away from Trump conspiring with Russians or obstructing justice, and the more it provides focus on the leadership of top law enforcement and intelligence agencies in this country at the federal level who have been politicized and some would say corrupted. The announcement yesterday, this former Skadden Arps attorney being indicted for lying to the FBI, for deleting emails purposely rather than turning them over to the FBI and then lying about his inability to locate them. This was in 2012. It related to business in Ukraine. He's connected to Manafort and Gates, who are under indictment awaiting trial. But, I mean, it doesn't, and again, I don't know everything Mueller knows, obviously. Nobody does. But it doesn't seem like it's getting closing in on the administration. It seems like it's, as I said, getting further away, doesn't it?
It seems to be looking more and more like a witch hunt.
And I also want to know what the standard is, too, based on the indictments of the Russians, the 13 Russians and the 3 companies that they used to advance their conspiracy in 2016, starting in 2014. Where were Clapper? And clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off, Jim Clapper.
Clap on, clap off.
Where was Clapper? Where was Brennan? Started in 2014 under the Obama administration.
Yes, it did.
So where were they? And based on the standard that they set forward in the indictments on Friday, failure to disclose compensation to the FEC, failure to register as a foreign agent. When does Christopher Steele get indicted? This was an op-ed in Law and News that we talked about yesterday from an attorney in California. When does Christopher Steele get indicted? When does the DNC get indicted? When does the Clinton campaign get indicted? Based on the standards set forth in the indictment announced on Friday. And that doesn't even get to the 10 questions about the Steele dossier that Devin Nunes has put forward. For answers or insights, at least, into some of these questions, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Ron Hoskow, who's a former FBI Assistant Director and now President of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. Ron, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's good to be with you again.
Well, why don't we start with Parkland and what you have thought about the revelations of what the FBI didn't do in that case and how you react to the calls by some, including Florida Governor Rick Scott, for Christopher Wray to resign over the failure to abide protocol in that case.
So first, there was the first posting that came to the FBI's attention, I believe last September, that came off of the internet where presumably Nicholas Cruz posted that he's going to become a professional school shooter. On that one, there was some criticism of the FBI, what it did. But I think in that case, if you look at the guidelines that the FBI works under, that would have been, first, not on its face a federal crime. If they could prove who posted it immediately, you would never get federal prosecution or even consideration for it. Nor would they likely get a subpoena to go to the internet service providers and help identify it, because it fell outside of the FBI's operational guidelines, which is reflected in a big, thick manual. You can find parts of it on the internet. And so let's fast forward then to January. My view is that that was a catastrophic failure. Again, not because what came to the FBI's attention would have been a federal crime or a national security threat, which really is their focus. We have to keep in mind that the FBI cannot be all things to all people, but they should have taken action on it immediately. That's the sort of information. It was detailed, specific, did reflect, from what's being reported, an immediate threat to life. And that's the sort of thing that should have been immediately conveyed down to the Miami office. And they could have shared it with their local law enforcement partners for action as deemed appropriate by them. It would not, in my estimation, have resulted in an FBI case being open. Again, the FBI's focus, their mission is on federal crimes and national security threats. And so I think there's some gap in knowledge there where people think the FBI is the solution to all their problems.
The communication to local law enforcement so they could do some local digging of their own, talk to the school, and that's the real failure.
Absolutely. And the FBI leads and sponsors dozens of task forces, hundreds of them around the country, whether it's joint terrorism task forces, violent crime or gang task forces, you name it, the FBI is sponsoring leading task forces. And so your local partners are very often, in the same workspace as you. My partner, when I worked for a decade in Chicago, was a Chicago police detective. And so you have these relationships, and the information has to get there in a case like that, despite whether there was an FBI case being open on it or not. So it was a failure. My understanding is that the director has sent an inspection division team to peel it apart and find out why. And frankly, I think there is the FBI will have to relook at this process, the tip line process. I think they were looking for efficiencies in the system when big cases start to break. They want to have a process where you can call 1-800-FBI. And they made a decision 5 or 6 years ago to centralize the receipt of those calls, those tips, in Clarksburg, West Virginia, where the FBI has a big facility and a big support staff. But frankly, I've heard a lot of criticism that, the belief that something is lost. If you add more links to the chain's only as strong as the weakest link. And when the complainant, the tipster, is in Schaumburg, in Arlington Heights, and they're trying to talk to somebody in West Virginia, there's a chance that something's going to get lost either in the translation or in the transmission of that information back to Arlington Heights or Schaumburg or Chicago, where the activity may be. And so I think it's incumbent on the director to find the facts quickly and to take action quickly.
Well, don't you think somebody should lose their job over this? I mean, if they find out who dropped the ball and just kind of like, I'm busy, I have other things to do.
Listen, I spent 30 years in the organization, and I like to reach my conclusions based on evidence, based on fact, not based on, damn it, somebody did something wrong, start firing people, including Chris Wray should resign, should lose his job. He's been the director for, 6 or 8 months now. This is a process that came into place, I believe, on Bob Mueller's watch, not Chris Wray's. This is in no way a reflection of his leadership of the organization. And I get the whole accountability and the buck stops here concept, but this is a director who I think is a pretty smart guy and maybe the right guy for this job at this time.
Well,
okay, who are we going to go to next?
Well,
who do we put in there as the director?
Well, we know we can't fire Bob Mueller, so not at present. But speaking of Bob Mueller and transitioning to his investigation, do you agree with my supposition that it seems with these indictments you're getting further away from Trump colluding with the Russians or obstructing justice, not closer, and what you're getting closer to, particularly with the bizarre event on Friday where you had the judge in the Flynn case ask Mueller's attorneys to present Flynn's attorneys with any exculpatory evidence they may have in their possession on Flynn, even though that wasn't requested by Flynn's attorneys. The possibility, the discussion going on that there may be a withdrawal of a guilty plea in Flynn's case. But all of this, do you sense that this investigation is, frankly, kind of, I don't know how to say it, on the up and up and is going somewhere, or is it getting further away from the intended target?
Well, Dan, I agree with two of your bigger suppositions.
Okay.
One, what happened yesterday and in recent days suggests, yes, they're getting further from the initial purpose. But the other supposition is Bob Mueller knows a lot more about this than we do.
Right.
You can see he is working in silence, working stealthily. What we find out, we tend to find out weeks after it happened. I give him great credit for that because we heard the drip, drip, drip of leaking and commentary on the Hillary Clinton investigation and on others. And I think it's valuable to have any investigative and prosecutive efforts be done quietly, effectively, professionally. And so we don't know what Mueller, where he's going, what he has in his hands. I do believe personally that he's working with pretty impressive speed. The detail of that Russian indictment last Friday, if you think about the fact-gathering effort that must have been behind that, where a lot of the activity is in St. Petersburg, Russia. It's not over here. Transactions, communications, those are all, I think, powerful. It suggests that Mueller, to me, is working with substantial speed. Like you, I'd like to see, does Mueller start to indict people on the DNC hack? Who were participants? Was there a handoff of information? We don't know where he's going. But I think he's got a smart team, very capable group of prosecutors, even if some have given to Democratic causes. I think that is cause for raised eyebrows. But Mueller knows at the end of the day, what he charges is going to get fully exposed to the light of day. If there's a hint of politics in it, he knows full well that's going to be exposed and dissected by you, by us, and it should be, right? Because we want this to ultimately be apolitical, straight-faced, down the middle, and Mueller gets that.
He is Ron Hosko, former FBI Assistant Director, as he mentioned, 3 decades serving us in the FBI. Now he's president for the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. Ron, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Picture your son in 10 years. What kind of man do you hope to see? I know you want your son to be a man of character. It's Dan Proft, and I urge you to consider Northridge Prep, ranked the #1 best all-boys school in Illinois for 2 years running, and a top 100 high school in America from U.S. News. Don't miss their open house on March 25th. Northridge Prep is an independent Catholic school for boys in grades 6 through 12 located in Niles. There's no brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. They instill the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm and energy. It's a good place to be a boy. Every teacher is a great role model who gets to the hearts of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves. Grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, and have top athletics and arts programs. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on March 25th. To learn more, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Here illegally, Manuel Orrego Zavala was deported twice and had multiple convictions and arrests. Drunk, he hit and killed Jeffrey Monroe and Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson. It was a senseless tragedy, and it never should have happened. Politicians in Washington have ignored this issue for far too long. We must build the wall, ban sanctuary cities, and put an end to chain migration. There are lives at stake.
Businessman and conservative outsider Mike Braun is the right choice for voters concerned about illegal immigration. Braun understands that we can't have a country without borders, and in the United States Senate, he'll help President Trump pass his agenda. Too often, dangerous criminals here illegally cause tragic deaths. President Trump can change things, and we can help by electing conservative businessman Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
I plan on taking this the rest of my life because until I started taking your stuff, I never took as many fruits and vegetables in a day as I get through you guys. You know, I'm very, very, very satisfied.
My pain and it went away. I swear to you that that's the truth.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Message and data rates may apply.
Here's something I bet you didn't know about prescription drugs. You could be paying a lot less for your family's medications, up to 80% less, even less than your Medicare or insurance copay. How? With GoodRx. See, GoodRx compares prices of every FDA-approved drug at pharmacies in your area and offers free downloadable coupons, so you get the best deals on all your medications. You'd be surprised to see just how much the prices can differ. In fact, last year alone, GoodRx saved Americans over $2 billion on their medications. Imagine paying even less than your insurance copay. Plus, GoodRx can sometimes find your medications for free. There are never any fees, and no personal information is ever required. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions and save up to 80% instantly by texting the word GoodRx to 99,000 for automated text messages from GoodRx. Or go to GoodRx.com. Text GoodRx to 99,000. Save today. Text GOODRX to 99000.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Supporting veterans is our passion. That's why we support Veteran Roasters, a Chicago coffee roaster that hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. If you'd like to help create jobs for homeless veterans, visit veteranroasters.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of coffee roasted and ground by once homeless and unemployed veterans. The coffee's delicious, and the profits are reinvested in hiring additional homeless veterans. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second bag you purchase. If you're a veteran securing a VA loan and would like to work with a local lender who supports veterans, call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from a VA client.
I do have a very close personal friend. Him and his wife were both Army. They did a couple tours. They were denied their VA loan at the 11th hour. They got the carpet pulled from underneath them. So, you hear horror stories like that. With you guys going through the VA process, you guys really did most of the legwork. I mean, just a matter of getting my paperwork in order and making sure you guys had the right documents so that you could push it through, make it happen, and get us the keys to our new home.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. 888-878-5210 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
That's funny. Remember ABC chief meteorologist Jerry Taft? He
Sure.
was always, he always had the best bloopers. He just
made
me laugh.
a long line of good-looking weathercasters at ABC 7.
Oh, he's hot.
Wind southeast, 8 miles an hour. Temperature 62.
What's he laughing at?
Come on, Mark.
Sometimes you
Cooler at the lake
Nothing
right now.
funny about the
54,
weather.
63 Midway, 62 O'Hare, 61 in Aurora. Pretty nice day. Now, we did have a few clouds out away from the lake. Along the immediate lakefront, we had a lot of sunshine today. Mid-70s across most of Illinois. There is some cooler air back out to the west. There's a cold front behind the cold front. Highs.
Cold front is funny, but
Well, there was no pending storm. It was just,
what was he laughing about?
Because Gian Greco, I know we all, you don't like Gian Greco, but those two would always make each other laugh, and Ron Majors and then Cheryl Burton would get on it. You know, they were just.
Oh, yeah.
You get the.
It's like Ronan Martin over there at ABC 7.
He's retired now, don't you know? And he lives in Naples, Florida, because he's smart. He got out of
course,
Illinois.
yes.
And guess what?
And he likes to play golf. He's a good golfer.
Right. So in between rounds of golf, he decided to become an Uber driver. And his first day on the job was yesterday. And he tweeted out his posted earnings of $84.61, which he earned in 5 hours and 40 minutes. He went on 9 different trips. So I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's sad that he's that lonely.
No, he just needs. No, he said that it's a way to reconnect with people in between golf rounds and get to know people. He's going to return to Chicago for the summer. Okay.
All right. Thanks for the update.
now let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Christian evangelist Billy Graham is dead at the age of 99. Fox News with the latest on that.